Yes, we can hear you clearly. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Sister Leela of Mahabodhi Society of India will ask you permission for co-host to record the session. So
Okay,
if you get the permission request, you can just confirm it.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
I start now.
Yeah, please.
Suddho susuddho karuna mahanabo jo chant shuddha vargyan lochanu लोकपाप पकिलेश घाट को बन्दामि बुद्धं अहमादरेणतम् बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Homage to the Buddha, the exalted one, the fully enlightened one. With the enlightenment of the Buddha in 6th BC, the world has turned on a new page of human history of spiritual achievement. His own spiritual quest led to a sincere search for freedom. His quest, how are we to free ourselves from suffering of sickness, old age, and that worked as the key to open the discovery channel, not of himself alone, but also of humankind. His personal quest tapped right on an existential problem that all of us human beings are facing. It was the first time in the history of world religions that the Buddha proclaimed spiritual equality of all races, castes, classes, and genders. The most striking event came when his own stepmother and aunt, the Queen Mahapragyapati, requested ordination. After some resistance, in finally granted her and her followers because women were equally capable of enlightenment. This has been taken as a golden phrase which lifted up the spirit of woman then and now. Having granted the woman to enter the holy order, the Buddha was true to his allowance. He always made sure that the women were not obstructed in any way to practice towards their own spiritual endeavor. As we have all linked online to celebrate the 2605th Bhikkhuni Day or this auspicious full moon day, the Madhu Purnima, with the theme Significance and Challenges of Bhikkhuni Sangha, Past, Present, and Future. Moderating this webinar, we have with us Venerable Bhikkhuni Dr. Liu Pap Vidita Dhamma from Vietnam. She is the abbess of Sunyata Bhikkhuni Arama, Vietnam, the deputy head department of Dhamma English, Vietnam Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City, and one of the first Theravada Bhikkhuni of Vietnam. Presiding over this webinar, we have Venerable Bhikkhuni Santini from Indonesia. I would now invite Venerable P.C. Valithero, the General Secretary, Mahabodhi Society of India, to please welcome the August gathering. This webinar is being organized by the Mahabodhi Society of India, Buddha Gaya Center. The Most Venerable P.C. Valithero.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Most Venerable Mahasangha of Bhikkhus, Bhikkhunis, Upasakas and Upasikas. Dear Dhamma friends, it is indeed a great opportunity in welcoming you all into this virtual webinar organized to commemorate the 2605th year of the foundation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, with the theme Significance and Challenges of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, Past, Present and the Future. Buddhism, about 25 centuries ago, inculcated the values of equality, justice and moral strength and spiritual energy by making women empowered. The concept of women's empowerment has gained more and more significance in the present times. It is universally accepted that, like all human beings, women to have a right to freedom from want, freedom from fear, and freedom to live in dignity, as their male counterparts do all over the world. Yet, the position of women has all along been gender discrimination continues even in the present times. Women's position in Buddhism is unique. The Buddha gave women full freedom to participate in a religious life. The Buddha was the first religious teacher who gave this religious freedom to women. Earlier, women's duties had been restricted to the household duties. Women were not even allowed to enter any temple or to recite any religious scriptures. The Buddha was criticized by the prevailing establishments when he gave this freedom to women. He moved to allow women to enter the holy order was extremely radical for the times. Yet, the Buddha allowed to prove themselves and to show that they too have the capacity, like men, to attain the highest position in the religious way of life by attaining arahanthood. Buddhism being a matter of self-control and self-culture, it regards every individual, whether man or woman, as a complete whole. Accordingly, the Buddha does not concern itself with those relations between men and women in which one sex is regarded as competing the other. But in all Buddhist countries, the influence of Buddhism has been such that women has always had a fair play. She is given perfect freedom and is bound by no rigid ties. As we have invited a large number of Bhikkhuni to speak on this issue, I shall speak no more and wish to most heartily welcome you all into this important webinar on this auspicious occasion of the full moon day. Thank you very much. May all beings be well and happy. Sabbe sattha bhavantu sukhita.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I would now invite the Honorable President of the Mahabodhi Society of India, Mr. N. Dorje, to please give a goodwill message for this auspicious gathering linked in this webinar. Mr. N. Dorje is also the Secretary of the Bodh Gaya Temple Management Committee. Mr. N. Dorje.
Most respected Venerable P. Shivali Thero, General Secretary, respected speakers, Venerable Bhikkhus, Venerable Bhikkhuni, members of Mahabodhi Society of India, and participants. I am very happy to note that Mahabodhi Society of India, Bodh Gaya Center, has organized this virtual webinar to commemorate the 2605th year of foundation of Bhikkhuni Sangha with the theme Significance and Challenges of Bhikkhuni Sangha, Past, Present, and the Future. The ideology of Buddhism in the ancient times and the ideal concept of empowerment of contemporary times are combined to blend with the ancient and modern ideologies. Buddhism was the first ideology to make women empowered throughout the long span in the history of mankind of many millennia. All types of empowerment, social, political, economic, cultural, legal, ethical, religious, and even spiritual were allotted to women by the compassionate and enlightened Buddha. Empowering women is empowering the entire humanity. The social acceptance of equality of women, the acceptance of spiritual empowerment of women, the discontinuation of discrimination against the women bring out the fact that the social attitude towards women was quite different from what it was in pre-Buddhist periods. This has led to the improved empowerment of women in spheres of religious, social, spiritual aspects. The Buddhist spirit has empowered women to attain spiritual liberation and enter in the spiritual bliss. So my best wishes and to congratulate you one and all attending this important webinar, and my special thanks to Most Venerable P. Shivali Thero, the Chief Monk and the General Secretary of Mahabodhi Society of India for organizing this webinar through Bodh Gaya Center here. Thank you very much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
As on this auspicious day of the full moon day, we have a very brief program now, that is the releasing of the second volume of the Bengali Buddhist journal, Niranjana, published by the Mahabodhi Society of India. I would invite Mr. Torit Kumar Roy, the editor of the journal, co-editor Dr. Shashwati Mutsuddi, to please release the journal Niranjana. Venerable P. Shivali Thero is the chief editor. Mr. Torit Kanti Roy.
Namaskar. Yeah, this is the second volume of Niranjana. Niranjana was published by Mahabodhi Society a long time back, but it was discontinued for some time. But now again, under the leadership of Venerable P. Shivali Thero, we have republishing the same, and this is the second volume.
Thank you.
Please show the volume. Please show, display the volume, display the journal.
Thank you. Maybe later on.
Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Commencing this webinar, we start with the recitation of the 3 sacred stanzas from the Dhammapada, which would be chanted together with the Venerable Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis, Upasakas and Upasikas linked in this webinar this evening.
So I would request all our venerable monks and Sangha, please join to it. Arabata Nikkamata Yunyata Buddha Sasane Dunadat Maturu Senam Alakaran Punjaru Yoimas Amma Vinayake Appamato Vihesati Mahaya Jati Samsaram
Dukkha
Santam Karisati Sukho Buddhanam Uppado Sadhamma Desana Sukha Sanghasya Samangi Amadganam Tapo Sukho
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I would now invite Venerable Bhikkhuni, Dr. Liupa Viditadhamma, to please proceed on with this webinar commemorating the 2605th Bhikkhuni. Venerable Bhikkhuni, Dr. Liupa Viditadhamma.
Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. I'd like to pay respect to the Bhikkhu Sangha, the Bhikkhuni Sangha, and convey my greeting to all the audience of this international conference. Today, we gather here to commemorate the 2605th commemoration, the date when the Buddha established the Bhikkhuni Sangha in Vesali, 5 years after his enlightenment. As we know, Mahapajapati Gotami Theri and 500 Sakyan ladies asked the Buddha to accept them into the order. But at first the Buddha refused. After that, with the help from Venerable Ananda, finally, women could be accepted to the Holy Sangha. And the Bhikkhuni Sangha existed in India and Sri Lanka for 1,000 years. After that, because of the famine, because of the war, and because of the foreign conquest, the Sangha disappeared in India and also in Sri Lanka. But fortunately, in Sri Lanka, a deputation from Myanmar was sent to Sri Lanka to re-establish the Bhikkhu Sangha. But at that time, there was no Bhikkhuni Sangha in Myanmar, so that it can be re-established in Sri Lanka. That's why during 1,000 years, since the 11th or 12th century up to here, up to the 20th century, there was no Theravada Bhikkhuni. And in 1996, with the support of Mahabodhi Society of India, and again in 1998, with the organization by Phokwan Shan and Sakatita and Mahabodhi Society, and especially by the venerable Mahatheras from Sri Lanka Sangha, the Bhikkhuni Sangha was re-established in India. And then it spread out to Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Cambodia, in the US, in America, in Europe, in Vietnam and Cambodia also. Today you can meet here so many Theravada Bhikkhunis, and most of them are the most senior Bhikkhunis from each country. In this, on this day, we assemble here to dedicate this webinar in the name of Mahatheri Mahaprabhachati Gautami and all other Mahatheris who struggled and sacrificed their lives for the equal religious rights for women in the Buddha Sasana. If they had not been then, we cannot talk about the Bhikkhuni Sangha today. With ultimate sense of gratitude, we offer our sincere, highest respect with folded hand at their feet. I would like to ask all the bhikkhus, the bhikkhunis, upasaka, upasika, to be in noble silence for 1 minute to commemorate the Mahatheri in the past through generations. 1 minute of noble silence starts. The noble silence is over. As you know, even though the Theravada Bhikkhuni has been re-established, but the obstacles and the challenges are still there. Most of the senior Bhikkhuni has to be trying to make effort to be ordained and to give ordination to other ladies. That is why today the topic of the seminar is significance and challenges of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, past, present, and future. Today we have all of the participants, all of the speakers are Buddhist women. Our keynote speaker will be Venerable Bhikkhuni Thamananda from Thailand, and our honorary speaker is Venerable Bhikkhuni Tathaloka from the US, and our chairperson of this function is Venerable Bhikkhuni Santini from Indonesia, and other Bhikkhunis and Upasikas from various countries. First of all, I would like to invite Venerable Bhikkhuni Thamananda from Thailand to give her keynote address. Maybe everyone here knows Venerable Thamananda. She is quite famous. She is the first Theravada Bhikkhuni in Thailand. She's the professor at the university, and now she is the abbess of the Somtama Kanyani nunnery in Nakhon Pathom, Thailand, with many Bhikkhunis and Samaneris studying under her guidance. Now I would like to invite Venerable Bhikkhuni Thamananda from Thailand to give your keynote address. Please.
Respected Venerable Sivali, Director General of Mahabodhi Society of India, Professor Bimalendra Kumar from BHU, and of course, my Dharma sister, Venerable Dr. Liu Fab, Mahasanghas, and dear friends. I'm very honored to be part of this conference, what you call webinar. And Mahabodhi Society of India always honored Bhikkhuni. And we are very happy to report also 3 years ago, that actually Mahabodhi Society of India hosted the very first international Bhikkhuni ordination, Theravada Bhikkhuni ordination. Venerable Dr. Liu Fop and myself, we were there with our students ordained. That was the first time to actually come together for this international ordination for Bhikkhunis. So I'm very happy to be here, Mahasangha, and also among our brothers and sisters. Many of you, I see the faces and I realize, oh, we have met long time ago. So this is a wonderful space that we are together again. I didn't realize that I was supposed to be giving keynote speech, but I prepared my presentation to share with you what we do here in Thailand, particularly during this COVID. And yes, I think it's very important that I should mention also, once we received the lineage from Sri Lankan ordination in 1998, underline 1998, that's when international Theravada International, Theravada Bhikkhunis lineage started in Asia, because Venerable Tathaloka is from USA and she was ordained before that date. But we in Asia considered 1998 is the start for all of us, and we come from that lineage. Particular respect to our Sri Lankan Mahasangha, both the Bhikkhus as well as the Bhikkhunis. I have been ordained almost 20 years now, and for the first 10 years, particularly in Thailand, I spoke a lot about recognition, revival, and all kind of papers that I have written about. And I thought that my second decade, I realized that to talk about recognition, to talk about importance of understanding this lineage is all written. It is now all written. 1998 is a start, and all of us from each country, we already have the material to study if you are open-minded and if you follow the teaching of the Buddha. All of us have to realize that the Bhikkhuni Sangha is what the Buddha intended from the very beginning. When he was enlightened, the Mara came and invited him to pass away. He said, not yet, until he established the fourfold Buddhist communities, Bhikkhunis, laymen, and laywomen. After 45 years, the Mara came again to remind the Buddha that now it's time that the fourfold Buddhist Sanghas are well established, underlined, well established, both the Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis, and it's about time. Then, only then the Buddha accepted to pass away. 3 months after that, he decided to go towards Kushinagar for his parinirvana. So all of us know this. And it is not because Venerable Ananda insisted so much so that the Buddha finally had to allow women to be ordained. No, the Buddha allowed women to be ordained because women can be enlightened. He said very clearly, Ananda, that these women can be ordained from Sotapanna, Sakatakhami, Anakami, and Arahat, Satchikatunti. See with your own eyes. These women can see with their own eyes. So this is a very beautiful passage that we have studied. And that's why we, Buddhist women like us, Venerable Liu Fop had the same background coming from academic world. That's why we offered ourselves, offered our life in a tray, offering to God, So that is our path that we have taken. And I would like to spend now this second part of my talk with my slide so that you can see what we do. Very Venerable Liu Fop, we have not catch up with each other for a long time. Also, I would like to share with you what we do during COVID, what the Bhikkhunis can do during this time. Can we share the screen?
Yes, please.
Yes.
You should share.
Yes. So I talk about the Bhikkhunis and their activities. Yes, this is our temple. We are right on Petkasem highway, you know. This highway in front of our temple actually can take you through Malaysia and to Singapore. So you can see where we live now. This, we have been here for 60 years, more than 60 years. Next. I would like to talk about Eco Temple. This is my research, you know. I did a research on ecology, on Buddhism and nature conservation since 1985. And so when I became ordained, I also continued my interest. Starting from our temple, starting from our bowl, you know, we have separating waste from the kitchen. So you can see that the waste goes, we have the scissor. We have the scissor for them to cut the milk box, you know, so that we can clean the milk box. And the milk box, we can use it to make furniture. Next. Then our waste from the bowl goes to compost. And then return to our garden again. The compost from the kitchen return to our garden. We aim for zero waste. You see the straw that we use, we also collect that and we sell by the end of the month. We sell them in bundles like that, you know, and the truck would come and take it. You see the empty bottles, paper of any size, boxes of any size, you know, we flatten them and we sell them. Plastic bags, you know, plastic bag is a big issue, and this is what we do. I crochet the plastic bags is made into strip, you know, and then we crochet into bags and we weave into mat. And also we do weaving. Weaving is wrap rugs, you know, from used clothes that people brought. We have plenty of them, so we cut them into strips and we weave rugs. We are very careful to use clean energy. So from our rooftop, we have solar cells for clean energy. And then we have also, what do you call that in the water? Mill. You know, to provide oxygen for the water. So to keep the water clean. This is the garden in the back. Venerable Lifop did not see this when you came last time. We did not have this one yet. And then we talk about cleansing the heart. We do this person visit for the last 7 years, I think. We visit them twice a month, and they receive certificate. And once when they receive certificate, they can use this certificate to lessen the days that they have been sentenced. So it has been popular, and the principal of the prison actually asked our training program to be their main training program for the prison. This is at provincial level. You see on the left, a pregnant woman, she came and asked me to bless her because she's going to give birth to the baby. This is very moving to some men because the monks cannot do. Venerable Lifop, only the Bhikkhunis can do this, you know, can really give blessing to them. And very interesting, 2 weeks after that, I went to visit again, and already she brought the baby, the newborn baby, and asked me to bless the baby and also to tie the white thread around on the waist, you know, on the wrist. That's what we usually do. And then during COVID, it started. I started with, I just bought two sacks of rice and tried to make it into, distribute it into small bags of 2 kilos. This photo went on viral, you call it viral, you know, on the internet. And someone who saw this photo, he said he could not stand it anymore to see all nuns working so hard, you know. So he came in and he started coming in his first truckload, 600 kilos of rice. And again, he comes back, and again he comes back. So he has given us more than 10,000 kilos of rice for us to distribute to the people in the neighborhood. You see, the man whom I talk about is on my left. We work hard. Last year we worked very hard because during COVID, you know, we also have to protect ourselves. So all of us wearing masks and wearing face shield, you know, and brought the food on the roadside. You could see in the lower photo. And then we have to keep them what you call distance, you know, in distance, not get too close to them. But they come and they pick up. The first table we offer rice, 5 kilos of rice, and then oil, and then soy sauce, water, whatever you name it. Even the fresh one, as you see, cabbage. So this, we kept this on for the first 10 weeks when people, you know, particularly people who received their payment on a daily basis, they were so affected. They were so affected because suddenly they lost their job, you know, and when they lost their job, it means no money. So this is the least we could help them. And we were one of the very early temples that actually opened the gate and brought out food for them. Very important that we make a statement. Very important that we care for society. We go for Pintabat. They take care of the Sangha, they take care of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, but now when they are in trouble, we also take care of them. So what it reads in the background, what it reads from heart to heart, from my heart to your heart, so to say. We also have to, you see, there were guards coming from the municipality, you know, to help us check on them, you know, that always clean their hands and always take temperature in order so that we are safe and they are safe. Lines of them, but we make sure they don't have to wait. So we did give queue, what do you call it? Queue card, you know, so that they don't have to wait too long. From 50 families to 100 families to 150 families to 200 families. And this was on a weekly basis. Not only that we feed people, we also feed the dogs because with this lockdown, these dogs were around the community, around the school. The schools were closed and these dogs really go hungry. So we also go out once a week to feed the dogs, the street dogs. Yes, we do care. During the lockdown, we care. And even up till now, we are still under lockdown and we have not yet been able to open the temple yet. But so we go out and deliver food ration to different spots, you know, where we could meet the people who are in need. Thank you, Venerable Lilfop.
Sadhu. It's so impressive, Venerable, for seeing what you and your Sangha have done in the time of the COVID lockdown. We know that everyone is affected by not being able to go for work, and even the stray dog also being seriously affected. So you care not only for the poor people, but also for the animals. We here in Vietnam, we also do the same. Even though you know that monks and nuns, I think that we are the bridge to connect the rich people and the poor people. We don't have money of our own, but we know who has money and willing to share, and who has the difficulty and need to be helped. So we are the bridge to connect the two, so that we can help the society in our capacity. So thank you so much, Venerable Tamananda, for your speech. And next, I would like to invite our Venerable Tathaloka from California, USA. I don't know whether she is here. If you are here, please give a text chat so that I can know that you are here now, Venerable Tathaloka. I know that last night she has a Bhikkhuni ordination in her temple, and oh, you are here already. And I'm afraid that she is so tired she cannot join today, but at least she is here with us. Venerable Tathaloka is one of the most senior bhikkhu in the Theravada tradition. She is the founding abbess of the Taranya. Oh, sorry, I forgot the name of your nunnery, but you will say something about your nunnery, I think. And she is teaching around the world. And also she is making research in the Bhikkhuni Vinaya and writing some books on the Bhikkhuni Sangha. Now we would like to invite Venerable Tathaloka to give your speech to the audience here. We are looking forward to hearing you. Thank you.
Namo Buddhaya, Namo Ratanataya. Blessings of the Noble Triple Gem and greeting from Aranya Bodhi Awakening Forest Hermitage on the Sonoma coast of Northern California. It's still dark here now. It's early in the morning here in the Redwood Forest and the coastal mountains. I want to express my appreciation to the Mahabodhi Society for organizing this program on the 2605th founding anniversary of the Bhikkhuni Sangha per the Theravada traditions, and celebrating International Bhikkhuni Day together. And I'd also like to express my appreciation to Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammananda, who is just speaking, and all the other venerables here, to Venerable Bhante Siwalitero, and to everyone with the Mahabodhi Society of India in Puddakaya. Now I'm going to see about sharing screen, and a friend is here to help me with that, as I'm not so tech savvy. We'll see what happens. So, Venerable Bhikkhuni Liufa Viditadhammateri suggested that I might speak, just a moment, suggested that I might
Your telephone is mute.
Yeah, you're muted.
Dear venerables and Dhamma friends, have you been able to hear anything during this time?
No, I no. Now we can hear you.
Can be here. Yes.
We can hear.
Please continue.
Okay,
Just the
let me
intro.
begin again then.
So
Just a
sorry.
moment.
I will make you co-host
Yeah.
now.
Oh, thank you, Venerable.
I'm sorry. I did because I didn't see your name, so I didn't put your co-host, and also now you have the right to record also. Please record if you need.
Aha, okay. Thank you, and Namo Buddhaya, Namo Ratanataya, blessings of the Noble Triple Gem, and my greetings to everyone from our Aranya Bodhi Awakening Forest Hermitage on the Sonoma coast of Northern California. I'm Bhikkhuni Tata Loka Terry, and I'm glad to join you today for this celebration of International Bhikkhuni Day on the auspicious full moon 2605th founding anniversary of our Bhikkhuni Sangha. And I want to share my anumodhana and thanks to the Mahabodhi Society of India in Bodh Gaya for hosting and organizing this International Bhikkhuni Day celebration and commemoration, and also to Venerable Bhikkhuni Liufap Viditadhamma Mahateri for moderating today. Also, my greetings to all the Venerable Bhikkhuni Sangha, Venerable Bhikkhu Sangha, and all Dhamma friends around the world. So I have something to share here. I'm going to try to share screen, and I'm not tech savvy, so I may get some support in doing so. But let me try now. Is it working?
Yes, it's
Yes.
working.
I'm not able to. Just a moment, please. Replay. Aha. So Venerable Bhikkhuni Dr. Liufap Viditadhamma Terry suggested that it would be good if today I would speak about the history of the Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha in America, as not everyone may know about that. So I'll be sharing with you about this topic. So in the early days of the Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha in America, even before that, Buddhism came to the American West in the 1840s with Chinese immigrants and to Hawaii with Japanese Buddhists in 1889. Theravada Buddhist Anagarika Dhammapala visited the US for the World Parliament of Religions in 1893, after which the first American became a Buddhist monk. In 1897, the first American woman, Countess Miranda de Souza Canavaro, a contemporary of Anagarika Dhammapala, became a Buddhist nun with the name Sister Sanghamita. She lectured in Buddhism for 3 years in Sri Lanka, India, and Burma, and in 1900, at the turn of the century, returned to the United States and became active with the Mahabodhi Society of America. It was a deeply held aspiration of Anagarika Dhammapala to revive the Theravada Bhikkhuni order of Sri Lanka and South Asia. In 1926, Sister Sujata from England undertook seminary Pabaja in Sri Lanka at the Abhinavarama in Kalutara in India, becoming the General Secretary of the United Buddhist Society in Bangalore. And in 1937, Sister Vajira from England, the only child of English Baron Sir Ernest William Robinson, became the first English woman to undertake the 10 precepts with the Mahabodhi Society in Sarnath, India, at the Mulaganda Kuti Vihara. Some 40,000 people turning out for the occasion. She was Dharma friend and companion of Sister Dhammadina from America, who undertook the 10 precepts likewise. These were the first generation. Later in the 20th century, in the 1980s and 1990s, about a century later, both Asian American and Euro-American women in Theravada traditions began to receive both seminary Pabaja with Lao and Sri Lankan monks in the USA, and full Bhikkhuni ordination offered by the Taiwanese American Fogongshan community. By the mid to late 90s, further women in Theravada traditions began to receive full Bhikkhuni ordination, back and forth between America and India. In 1995, in California, a Vietnamese American Theravada Bhikkhuni received full ordination at International Buddhist Meditation Center in Los Angeles. In 1996, there was the great ordination of 10 Sri Lankan Bhikkhunis in Sarnath, Isipatane, with the Mahabodhi Society. In 1997, again in California, at the International Buddhist Meditation Center, I was ordained then and there. In 1998, again in India, in Bodh Gaya. Sri Lankan monks, Venerable Dr. Havenpola Ratanasara Mahathira, my late most venerable Bhikkhu preceptor, the late Venerable Panila Ananda and Venerable Wolpola Piyananda Mahatheros, as well as Venerable Henapola Gunaratana, known affectionately as Banteji here in the United States. All of these Sri Lankan monks here in America played very important roles. In the 21st century, American Bhikkhunis who ordained in Asia, especially originally in India and in Sri Lanka, slowly began to return to America in the early 21st century. By 2005, the North American Bhikkhuni Association was founded, and the first Bhikkhuni Vihara in the Western United States, Dhammadharini, that's my community here, was inaugurated. In 2006, the Alliance for Bhikkhunis was launched, offering support for Bhikkhunis in both North America and internationally. In 2007, the first Theravada Bhikkhuni Patimokkha recitation was held, formally acknowledging the existence of the Bhikkhuni Sangha Theravada in North America. With the 2600 Buddha Jayanti, Theravada Bhikkhunis here in North America began themselves giving seminary papaja to inspire aspiring candidates in USA. Here for the Buddha Jayanti anniversary, Bhikkhunis, Theravada Bhikkhunis from Thailand, from Sri Lanka, from USA gathered together to give precepts to a large number of Cambodian women and girls for the Buddha Jayanti. These were the first Bhikkhuni given seminary papajas in the United States at the time of the Buddha Jayanti. Before that, only bhikkhus gave the seminary ordination here. In 2009, Bhikkhuni preceptors and teachers traveled from US to Australia to offer the first Theravada Bhikkhuni ordinations in Australasia. And the first American Bhikkhuni preceptor was appointed. That's me. Not long after, in 2010, the first all Theravada dual Bhikkhuni ordinations were held in USA, here where I am now, at Aranyabodhi Awakening Forest Hermitage in Northern California. Not long afterwards, in 2010, Theravada Bhikkhuni ordinations also began in Southern California at the Dharma Vijaya Buddhist Vihara, supported by Venerable Wolpola Piyananda Mahathero, who was also present for the first 1996 Bhikkhuni ordination in Sarnath, supported by the Mahabodhi Society. This was together with the Sri Lankan Bhikkhu Sangha. Since this time, the seminary papaja and Bhikkhuni ordinations began to be held regularly in USA, supported by both Euro-American and Sri Lankan American Bhikkhuni preceptors who were themselves ordained in the 1996 and 1997 ordinations in India. Some of our Bhikkhuni preceptors here in North America, Bhikkhuni Pavatini Upajaya. The Bhikkhuni preceptors who you see here are from Sri Lanka and from Myanmar, and also of Euro-American heritage. Currently in America, about half of Bhikkhunis are of Asian heritage, mostly from the Theravada countries of Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and Burma. And about half are of Euro-American heritage, whether born in USA or immigrants from Europe. Native American, African American, and Hispanic American Bhikkhunis are still rare, but they are slowly increasing in number. The first Native American bhikkhuni received her bhikkhuni ordination here at our Aranyabodhi Hermitage in 2010. There are not yet any large bhikkhuni monasteries in North America with 20 or more bhikkhunis, but there are several smaller bhikkhuni monasteries and hermitages, mostly in California, with the majority of bhikkhunis in small satellite viharas. There are no state-level issues of recognition or legality with regards to Theravada Bhikkhuni ordination in USA, as there are in South and Southeast Asian Buddhist countries. However, there are the prevalent issues of recognition brought into the USA with the bhikkhus and Buddhist people of Theravada cultures who have immigrated to America. Generally, the Sri Lankan Buddhist monks here are most supportive, but also the Theravada Buddhist monks of other traditions are supportive as well, at least some of them. Americans wish and need for bhikkhunis. There's a strong wish for bhikkhuni teachers in North America. For more than 10 years, invitations to bhikkhuni teachers have always greatly exceeded the availability of those teachers. From the time of the founding of the first bhikkhuni vihara in the Western United States, Dhammadharini, I'm going to remove that. Just a moment. I'm just having a technical support issue. Never mind anyway. From the time of the founding of the first Bhikkhuni Vihara in the Western United States, people have contacted Dhammadharini exploring entering monastic life or further ordination as a bhikkhuni. The main hindrances to their being able to do so have been, number one, a shortage of material support to accommodate the aspirants. And number two, a shortage of qualified bhikkhuni teachers to give training and give leadership. Up till the return of the bhikkhunis, that is the bhikkhunis who went to Asia to ordain and then came back to the US, there had not even been well-established places in the United States for 8 or 10 precept nuns in Theravada Buddhism. People were not used to supporting and valuing nuns in Theravada Buddhism, with the notable exception of the most venerable late Ayakema and some Siladharas from Amaravati in England. Nor were people used to having Theravada women renunciates as teachers. All this changed with the return of the Theravada bhikkhunis who ordained in Asia. A big shift in the culture began. Slowly, but ever increasingly, both bhikkhus and lay supporters began to become aware of and increasingly appreciative of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. There is a strong wish for bhikkhuni teachers in North America, and slowly the number of qualified and capable bhikkhuni teachers in America is growing, and the Bhikkhuni Sangha is spreading. Bhikkhuni teachers like our late most venerable Bhikkhuni Kusuma from Sri Lanka and venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammananda from Thailand's coming to visit and teach in America has been a big boon for us. We need more qualified and skilled bhikkhuni teachers, both domestically and from around the world, to teach Buddhist ethics, meditation, and wisdom of the Buddha's Dhamma here in America. International collaboration between bhikkhunis, both East and West, is a powerful force for good. After almost 2 years of lockdown and not being able to receive new aspirants or give bhikkhuni ordinations here, this International Bhikkhuni Day, our Dhammadharini Bhikkhuni Sangha, in collaboration with the bhikkhunis of Aloka Vihara Forest Monastery here in Northern California, was very happy to be able to give both Samaneri Pabaja and full Bhikkhuni Upasampada once again on September 19th, 2021, in commemoration of International Bhikkhuni Day. We hope you will rejoice together. Thank you very much, and Anumodhana to all organizers and participants. Namo Ratanataya. Blessings of the Noble Triple Gem.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. sadhu.
Sadhu.
Thank you very much, Venerable Tathaluka, for your interesting story of the history of the Bhikkhuni Sangha in Theravada tradition in America. I myself visited her temple, her nunnery in San Francisco, and also the hermitage, Aranya Bodhi hermitage in the mountain. It is a very quiet, very green, and very fresh environment, ideal for meditation. And we also follow the story, and we know from the first generation to the second to the third. So, and now more and more bhikkhunis in America is coming to join our Sangha. And as you can hear, Venerable Tathaluka is the first American Bhikkhuni preceptor. And she is the one who played the role of Pavatini preceptor in the Bhikkhuni ordination in Australia, by which Ajahn Brahma Vangso, or Ajahn Brahm in short, became so famous among the Bhikkhuni Sangha. He is the one who strongly support the Bhikkhuni Sangha and organized the historical Bhikkhuni ordination in Australia. And now the Bhikkhuni who was ordained in that ordination now also became a Pavatini preceptor, Venerable Hasapanya. So it is a very good news that we get ordained not only for ourselves, but also to pave the way for the next generations. So our first two speakers, you see that Venerable Dhammananda is the first bhikkhuni in America, in Thailand. Venerable Tathaluka is also one of the first bhikkhuni in America. And now our next speaker is also the first Theravada Bhikkhuni in Indonesia. That is Venerable Santini Theri. She was ordained in the year of 2000, and the abbess of the Wisma Kusalayani Women's Hermitage in Bandung, West Java, Indonesia. She is also a well-known meditation master in Indonesia. So today we would like to invite Venerable Santini Theri to give your speech for this seminar. Thank you.
Contribution of Bhikkhuni Sangha in propagation of Dhamma. Most venerable Sangha members, distinguished participants, my Dhamma sisters and brothers, I'm happy to participate in this event on International Bhikkhuni Day, and I'm thankful to the committee who have invited me and worked very hard to make this event a success. Congratulations. May all beings be happy. Nowadays, humanity is put on a test. Since pandemic affects all aspects of life, many people need help, even those who are not losing material things. Well, maybe they still have jobs, homes, regular meals during pandemic. Yet, there are some who cannot accept the changes around them, especially those who are not familiar with anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Obviously, stress and mental illnesses soon rise on the surface of their lives. Furthermore, many families lost the breadwinners in death because of COVID. Many wives lost their husbands, or husbands lost their wives. Some parents lost their children or children lost their parents. Some even lost several family members at the same time. So much suffering around. As Buddhists, especially as Bhikkhunis in Bhikkhuni Sangha, which is one of the 4 Buddhist pillars, this is the right time to augment the truth of Dhamma. Loving kindness and compassion must be put in real action, and equanimity goes along as we witness dukkha everywhere, within our faces too. In Indonesia, Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha has a very interesting position among those 4 pillars since the Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha Upasampada in 2000. There have always been some disagreement as to the formal acknowledgement by Theravada Bhikkhu Sangha. Some attempts have been made in order to hinder Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha activities and progress. However, we realize that Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha should go on doing good karma in order to promulgate Dhamma. So far, we have done a lot of things to put Dhamma in practice. We want to make people see how Dhamma helps us deal with our daily problems. Luckily, we have many supporters who understand so much to do, so little time, Sangwega. Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha has revealed Buddhist engagement in society touching several aspects. So far, here are some contributions of Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha. 1. Hosting Dhamma retreats for children several times annually. 2. Hosting annual Atasila practices and meditation retreats, and 10-day Pabaja for Samanera and Samaneri. 3. Giving Dhamma talks in many cities, both in Indonesia and abroad. 4. Recording Dhamma talks to send through social media, enabling people, Buddhists and non-Buddhists, to access. 5. Printing Buddhist magazine for children and adults. 6. Doing routine activities in several viharas and chetiyas. Meditation practices, Buddhist ceremonies, Dhamma classes during Waisak month, Dhamma for old people, etc. 7. Organizing social activities in several towns to give donation to people in need. 8. Motivating and coordinating groups of lay people to do good karma, such as A. Helping those who have bad experiences in natural disasters in many places, including in other islands, the Indonesian archipelago. B. Visiting places where disaster strikes to give aids needed by victims. C. Giving fellowships to poor students who need educational support. D. Supporting the building processes of viharas. E. Helping operational costs of some viharas and schools. F. Helping to renovate and build houses in disaster areas. G. Sending vitamins and logistics to healthcare team who work during COVID pandemic. H. Sending personal protective equipments to many hospitals and regional public health centers. I. Giving online Dhamma talks during COVID pandemic. J. Etc. Thanks to our Dhamma supporters, Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha can show its contributions. We are happy to know that a lot of people, Buddhist and non-Buddhist, benefit from Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha activities. That way, directly and indirectly, Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha functions very effectively in propagating Dhamma, despite their religions, many people can see how Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha really shows real struggles in order to help people, Buddhist and non-Buddhist. It is interesting to see how this pandemic time changed people's understanding about Buddhist activities. Before this pandemic, many Buddhist activities had been done without showing Buddhist flags. Thus, the recipients did not know who donated. But during this pandemic, the given donations have stickers of Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha logo. They can see the picture of 7 women strength picture. Now many non-Buddhists know that women without hair on the head are called bhikkhuni. As a result, they come to a realization that Buddhists do care about others. Buddhists have active participations to help here and there. Many thankful expressions from Buddhists and non-Buddhists were sent to Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha with good wishes for the bhikkhunis. They also pray for the welfare and progress of Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha. What a booster! This pandemic time, surprisingly, has given lots of benefits and advantages to Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha. With the online system, everybody can join Dhamma talks, regardless of religions, sects, and places. It is true that people can no longer be active in their viharas as they cannot go there in person during this pandemic. But they are now free to join anything available online, including following online activities of Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha, which had previously been strictly forbidden. Thanks to social media, Dhamma talks which are given in the Indonesian language can now be followed by Indonesian people living abroad in America, Canada, Germany, Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, China, etc. Besides that, Indonesia Buddhist organizations abroad have invited us as guest speakers for online seminars. Several bhikkhus, either independent or those belonging to certain Sangha organizations, can now easily promote bhikkhunis because of online system. Maybe they are now more open to the existence of Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha. Online Dhamma talks have reached a wider range of society. Many non-Buddhists reach out to us, bhikkhunis in persons, wishing us good health, long life, happiness, etc. This proves that Dhamma is finding its way to open people's hearts to reach those who are ready to come in contact with these highest blessings. And interestingly, the Indonesian government pay a lot of attention to Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha and acknowledges its contribution to society. On Independence Day, August 17, 2020, Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha received an award from the Indonesian government. I would like to show some photos of the activities of Indonesia Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha. Please enjoy.
Sudhihara
From history, we learn that actually Bhikkhuni Sangha did exist for a very long time, but unfortunately came a point when Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha ceased to be. However, with the power of Dhamma, it has come to being again. How wonderful! Now it is up to us to make sure that Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha will not disappear again. For that, Bhikkhunis should have active participation in helping society, national and international wise. Therefore, we as Bhikkhunis must keep struggling seriously to empower ourselves with virtue, perseverance, and sincerity. We, as Bhikkhunis, must put what has been taught by the Buddha in real actions. Commemorating the International Bhikkhuni Day, we would like to thank the bhikkhus, upasikas, upasakas, and all beings who have given continuous help, support, attention, and loving care to Bhikkhuni Sangha. With your support, we Bhikkhunis, who are so lucky to have Bhikkhuni Sangha revived again, actually get Dhamma fuel to move forward courageously. Dear Dhamma sisters and Dhamma brothers, let us do our very best as Bhikkhunis and as Buddhists. As human beings, we can do so many things for the good of other beings. In brief, the existence of Bhikkhuni is for humanity itself. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Sabbe sata bhavatu sukhita.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
You can hear, Venerable, so many sound of joy after seeing your video. We are so happy, so joyful to see such various abundant activities of the Indonesian Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha. Even though we know that the number of Bhikkhunis in Indonesia is very limited, about 10 or less than 20, but you have done a lot of things for the society and for the propagation of Dhamma. Looking at your activity, I have the idea. I remember what our master, Venerable Punavicho Thera, he's my master since I was a Silavati. And he always supports our Bhikkhuni Sangha. And once he told me, you don't need to try to fight for the equality or recognition. What you need to do is to be good. First of all, to be good, to observe the Vinaya, to practice meditation, to help people, and to contribute in the Dhamma propagation. Once you are good, then you don't need to be recognized. People will come to you. People will recognize your effort, your contribution. And you see, the Indonesian government also acknowledge the contribution of Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha in Indonesia, especially in the pandemic time. Thank you so much, Venerable Santini, for your presentation. And our next speaker is Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta from Sri Lanka. Maybe you already met her in our memorial ceremony in commemoration of our late Venerable Kusuma Mahatheri, one of the first Sri Lankan Theravada Bhikkhuni in the modern time, who passed away last month, only this month. So Venerable Bodhicitta is also a very active bhikkhuni. Today, she will also give a presentation. And because we still have many participants, many speakers here, so please confine your presentation in about 7 or 8 minutes. Thank you. And now, please take the microphone. Is Venerable Bodhicitta here? I heard that some bhikkhunis speaker who are now staying in Australia, like Venerable Nirotha, Venerable Upekha, or Venerable Bodhicitta, maybe they cannot attend because of the time. It is very late now, about midnight in Sydney. So if Venerable Bodhicitta is not here, then I would like to invite Venerable Bhikkhuni Dr. Kama Sonam Pamo from Varanasi, India. Please introduce yourself and give your presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My greetings and Tashidalek to all the Bhikkhu Sangha, Bhikkhuni Sangha, Upasikas, and especially to Venerable B. Sivalin Theroji, the General Secretary of the Mahavira Society of India, Professor Bimendra Kumar Ji, the coordinator of the webinar, and Bhikkhuni Lipa, the moderator, and all the organizing committee members of this international webinar, and of course the distinguished speakers and all the Dharma brothers and sisters participating in this program from all over the country. First of all, it is indeed an honor for me to be part of this program, and I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Mahavira Society of India for giving me this opportunity to be part of this program in rejoicing and commemorating this very special event. So thank you so much. In order to introduce myself, I am as you can see, ordained in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, and I am actually currently working as a research staff and in the Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies, which is the Government of India run deemed university in Sana, Varanasi. I did my studies here, completing my Acharya, then I did my PhD in Australia, and then I came back, worked as a research staff in the institute itself, as well as I've been visiting faculty, visiting as faculty member to universities in Australia and America, and recently I was a faculty at Sikkim University in Sikkim, northeastern state in India, and currently I'm in Varanasi, back to my institute. I would like to speak briefly, because of the time limit that we've been given to be confined within 8 minutes, briefly touch upon the very significant theme of the webinar that the Mahavira Society has given, the Bhikkhuni tradition and the significance of Bhikkhuni tradition and challenges of protection, of course, and past, present, and future. So briefly touching upon the past, the past, as we all are very well aware that, from the very outset, Buddha had this vision very clearly, mentioned in a very important sutra in the Mahaparinirvana Sutta, that he had this vision of having the powerful community members of his sangha, So and that it is very clear that it was right after his enlightenment. So he had this vision from the very beginning. So although in the Vinaya accounts of that we find in the Chulwaga section of the Vinaya Pitaka, in terms of founding of the nuns order, there are some indications that Buddha was initially a bit reluctant or not really willing, but there are many scholars that have done research in this very extensively and have indicated that we don't know, it may not have been the case, right? So Buddha may not have been hesitant at all. He may have given the ordination when Mahaprajapati Gautami and the 500 Shakin ladies requested, but actually we do, but at the currently we do see this reference in all the Vinaya, recensions of all the Vinaya Pitakas, both in Theravada as well as the Mulasarvastivada Vinaya Pitakas, right? So regardless of that, we do know historically, Buddha did, eventually grant ordination to the Mahaprajapati, and that also on the basis of a very sound, strong argument, declaration by the Buddha that women are, capable of attaining all the spiritual realizations, starting from Sotapanna to Sakadagamin to Anagamin to Arhat, right? So we may find this not a huge thing in today's time, but given the context of that time, remember Buddha coexisted within that ancient Indian Brahmanical culture, and at that time, there was very clear, discriminatory views in terms of gender role, in terms of spiritual practice, and equal spiritual realization, and equal role to play as a follower of a particular, spiritual master. So in this manner, Buddha, in a very revolutionary manner, he made this very clear declaration of the women's spiritual capability being as capable as anyone. So similarly, and then there is also a very important reference in one of the suttas in the Samyutta Nikaya, in the Theravada Samyutta, I guess, where he gives very clear, that when in terms of spiritual practice, there is really no difference whether you are a woman or a man. So if I can quote this quickly, he says, "The straight way, that path is called, and fearless is its destination. The chariot is called unrattling, fitted with wheels of unwholesome states. The sense of shame is its leaning board, mindfulness its upholstery. I call the Dhamma the charioteer, with right view running out in front. One who has such a vehicle, whether a woman or a man, has by means of this vehicle drawn close to Nibbana." So this is very, important. So I will be linking this with the women's ordination, because, so in terms of the spiritual practice, there is, as Buddha has clearly said, there is no distinction. And of course, he has declared it during the founding of the Bhikkhuni ordination in the historically as well, right? However, in terms of today's scenario, we do find that there are presently many challenges for revival and re-establishing of the Bhikkhuni ordination in many Buddhist traditions currently. Although in terms of the Theravada Bhikkhuni tradition, it is very encouraging. I'm very happy to see the thriving Bhikkhuni Sangha in many of the Theravadian countries. And that I have, of course, I'm aware of from the papers and the journals that I read. And now today I got opportunity to see the visual images of all the great contributions that women have made in the, from the Bhikkhuni Sanghas of the Theravadan countries, like from Venerable Dhammananda's nunnery, and then Venerable Dattaloka's and Venerable Santini's that I've just seen. So it is very encouraging, and it is very, a huge thing in terms of the, Bhikkhuni Sangha, I guess. And so I rejoice in that. And, so in terms of the, that's, I guess, in terms of the past, right? So what about the present in terms of the lineage that I belong to? So I belong to Tibetan Buddhist tradition. The Tibetan Buddhist tradition follows the Vinaya tradition from the Mula Sarvastivada tradition, right? So similarly, just like the case for the Theravadan Bhikkhuni lineage, the Bhikkhuni lineage in the Mula Sarvastivada Vinaya tradition also got lost, and in terms of its lineage in Tibet, there are various views. There's been a lot of research on this, and there are different views. Some of the scholars are of the view that it actually never traveled to Tibet, and some are of the view that it did travel, but it didn't really get well established in Tibet. So nevertheless, it is true. The current scenario is that we don't have a Bhikkhuni lineage or Bhikkhuni ordination lineage in the Mula Sarvastivada Vinaya tradition. That is true, right? So now, what is next, right? So is there a possibility of revival of the Bhikkhuni tradition in the Mula Sarvastivada Vinaya tradition? And in this regard, the present scenario is that I'm sure many of you are aware, although it has not yet been fully revived or re-established in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, many of the lineage heads, especially His Holiness the Dalai Lama and His Holiness the Karmapa and many others also, are very much for the revival of the Bhikkhuni ordination within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So they have strong view and wish to establish it. However, it has this, as His Holiness the Dalai Lama has clearly said this during one of the conference in Germany, that since this is a matter to be decided by the Sangha members, he cannot sort of do it on its own, right? So there is some, there are some still some challenges in terms of Bhikkhuni ordination in Tibetan Buddhist tradition and in officially reinstating it. However, in terms of individual and in terms of particularly in terms of one lineage, it's almost on we have already started it. Individually level. From the very many years, like I belong to the Karmakagyu lineage, and the previous Karmapa, during the previous Karmapa in the late 70s and 80s, His Holiness the 16th Kyaung Karmapa, he had followers, ordained in Tibetan Buddhist tradition, however, receiving the Bhikkhuni ordination from Dhammakutta tradition in Taiwan, right? So from then on, particularly in my lineage masters were very open to it, So although it was not possible to give it by the Tibetan bhikkhus because the lineage was not there, but they were open. The lineage masters were open for us to go and receive it from the Dhammakutta tradition. Similarly, in terms of the present Karmapa, he is also very much interested and is working for reinstating it, within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition's Karmakagyu school. So, in Tibetan Buddhist tradition, we have this, 4 different schools, right? So each four different schools have their own lineage masters, and so Karmakagyu lineage, the lineage master is the Karmapa, and so he actually, in 2017. In Bodh Gaya, he actually started the process of reinstating it within its lineage. So what he did was, because there was this challenge that we have in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition in general on this matter, is that how can we mix the tradition? Because we follow the Mulasarva Theravada Vinaya lineage and the Bhikkhuni tradition that we now have to receive is from the Dhammaputtaka tradition. So that has been this, always been the point that how do we resolve this, the different lineage, mixing of the different lineage. So what His Holiness Karmapa did was that he said, okay, now we can actually, start from the scratch. So what he did was in 2017, he, had a group of nuns of both Tibetan and Himalayan origins. About 19 of them actually received Shramanirika vows from the Dhammaputtaka, Bhikkhunis, so that, they are trained same tradition from the novice vow to the full ordination vows, so that, there is no later, this kind of disagreement or issues raised in terms by the, mixing of the lineage, right? So he actually started this process, and there are about 19, nuns from different Kagyu nunneries who have received Shamanarika vows from the Dhammaputtaka lineage, and they are currently in training. So they will be next receiving the full ordination lineage from the Dhammaputtaka, so that in that manner, in that way, we will in the future have Tibetan Buddhist Bhikkhuni Sangha re-established. So this is something very encouraging, and I guess it is as one of the sub themes of the international webinar is that happy indeed is the unity of the Sangha. So I think that the revival or the re-establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sangha is something very significant and indispensable to make the fourfold community members complete. And that will indeed be, a very happy unity of the Sanghas. So as we have seen from the, very images, thriving Bhikkhuni Sanghas through images from the earlier presentations. I am sure one day we will also have a very thriving, Bhikkhuni Sangha within the Buddhist Tibetan Buddhist tradition as well. So right now we do have a good number of Tibetan Buddhist Bhikkhunis, but they are all scattered all around, and they all sort of received them individually. It did not happen as a group or as like in an official manner. But now we are on, as I've said, His Holiness Karmapa has started, and His Holiness Dalai Lama is very much for it. He is a strong believer that it should be revived within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So not too long from now, in the near future, I'm sure we will also be, the Tibetan Buddhist tradition will also be having a strong Bhikkhuni Sangha that all of us can rejoice at some point in time in the future. And yes, so with this note, I will stop here because of the time constraint. So I once again thank you I would like to thank the Marvelous Society of India and the organizing members of the webinar for organizing, for commemorating this important historical day through this webinar and giving me this opportunity to speak a few words. And it's wonderful to see the great, senior Bhikkhunis, Venerable Dhammananda, Tata Loka, and the Venerable Santinitsa, and their, contribution, the Bhikkhuni contributions made by the Bhikkhuni Sangha in their aramas. It was very wonderful, and I rejoice in them, and I thank everyone for this. So thank you so much, and power to Sarvamangala. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Venerable Dr. Kama Sonampamo, for your presentation. As you know, the Tibetan nuns and the Theravada nuns, we have also the same challenges and obstacles. But at least now we can have the official Bhikkhuni ordination in Tibet in the Theravada tradition. But as far as I know, most of the Bhikkhuni in the Tibetan tradition have to take ordination in the Mahayana or Dharmaguptaka tradition. They must go to Taiwan or China or Korea to get the full ordination. Even though His Holiness Dalai Lama and His Holiness Karmapa is very supportive to the idea of re-establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, but the whole Bhikkhu Sangha needs more requirement on the Vinaya so that they can officially start the Bhikkhuni ordination in Tibetan tradition. So we share with you the difficulties and the challenges, and we also wish that very soon there will be the Bhikkhuni ordination in Tibetan tradition so that all the nuns can have the opportunity to get full ordained and to get again what the Buddha has given us from the beginning. So it's thank you very much for your information. And our next speaker is Venerable Bodhicitta from Sri Lanka, but now she is staying in Australia. Now I would like to invite you, Venerable Bodhicitta, to start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Venerable Bhikkhuni Liu Pep. First, I would like to pay my respect to all the senior Sangha members, and especially to would like to pay respect, putting my head down and bowing down to the General Secretary of Mahabodhi Society, Venerable Sivali Mahathero, for arranging this. His predecessor, 25 years ago, Venerable Vipulasara Thero, in 1996, he took this courageous step to revive the lost Theravada Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka, and he took the leadership to ordained the Dasasil Matas, the 10 preceptors, as Bhikkhunis in 1996. And he is no longer with us, but I'm so grateful to see the current General Secretary of Mahabodhi Society is following his teachers' footsteps and the predecessors, and taking it from where they have left and continuing to support the Bhikkhunis. So we pay respect to you, Bhante, and it's so inspiring and encouraging to see your support. I would also like to mention that when we go back to 1996, the first Bhikkhuni was Venerable Bhikkhuni Kusuma, and as you all know, Venerable Bhikkhuni Kusuma passed away a few weeks ago. So it's a big loss for us, because she, the way she faced the problems and how she stood up to the pressures and how she managed to establish it there and allowed the roots to take place. So she has given like pioneered and revived it. So now that there is a lack of that type of a strong leadership, so we need to get together, come together to keep her legacy. So I hope the international Bhikkhuni community and the bhikkhus who supports the Bhikkhuni will pay a lot more attention to Sri Lanka and inspire and encourage the Bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka to take the leadership and continue what Venerable Dr. Leta Kusuma Bhikkhuni has done. So we still have the same things as everyone has been talking. It's not very well accepted, but it's better now. A lot of the senior monastics are supporting, whether they are doing it formally and publicly, but at least they express that a lot of them, they don't have problems. It's just that they can't go against their seniors. But two of the fraternities, the Ramanya Nikaya and the Amarapura Nikaya, they have come together, and few very senior monks, some Mahanayaka Theros from the sub-branches, they have told that they actually really like to support this, and they are taking steps for that. So it's a very good sign. So it's just that one fraternity, the Siyan Nikaya and the Askiri Nikaya, together, that there is this bit of a friction there. But I think it's showing good signs. I think it will move towards a brighter future in the future. So I would like to request all the senior bhikkhus to with unconditional loving kindness and with compassion lend Bhante's hands to the younger sisters, the bhikkhunis. As the Buddha pointed out, it's the younger brother, the bhikkhus have to look after the bhikkhunis, because bhikkhunis are vulnerable. They just can't survive without the bhikkhus' support. So we hope the bhikkhus will realize that it is their responsibility, and it is how much they work hard to establish this and support the bhikkhunis, that the bhikkhunis can survive, and they can thrive, and they can develop the Bhikkhuni order. So without the bhikkhu support, we can't do it. So I would humbly like to request, by bowing down my head, may the senior bhikkhus in Sri Lanka work in favor in establishing and supporting the Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka. So I hope that will come soon. And so apart from that, I think I don't want to take too much time, but is there anything else Bhante Sivali would like me to mention, Bhante, or any of the Bhikkhunis?
Thank you very much, Venerable Bodhicitta. So,
give you an opportunity.
Yeah,
May you
I think that you are very understanding of the situation of the young nuns or young bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka, and I really appreciate your here you are urging the bhikkhu sangha, especially the Bhante venerables from Mahabodhi Society, to give a land to help the young bhikkhunis so that they can develop in the Buddha Sasana. All together, we can do something in our capacity. We help ourselves and we help one another so that we can develop on together. So I know that now it is midnight in your place, and I appreciate your effort to come with us in this seminar. We wish you and your nunnery will prosper, and there will be more members in the Sangha in Australia. And next is, I would like to invite Venerable Kundasali Subhagya from Sri Lanka. She will talk to us about the Buddhist education for Sri Lankan nuns. And now I would like to give the microphone to our Venerable Bhikkhuni Kundasali Subhagya. Thank you.
Namo Buddhaya, respected Venerable Sirs, Bhikkhunis, with the permission of all the senior monks and nuns. So first, I would like to thank you for all the invitees to invite me today. So because today is a wonderful day for me. This is the first time I'm speaking with the Mahabodhi Society in India. So thank you, Sri Lankan Buddhist nun. I'm working at the University of Peradeniya. So I thought to speak today about the Buddhist nuns education in Sri Lanka. So one of the comparative topic, one of the debatable topic in Sri Lanka. So we all know in history. So I don't want to pay my more attention for the history sources, because we know that how we started the Bhikkhuni ordination and how we gradually developed that, and how Sri Lanka got the Buddhism, and how the Sri Lankan females become the Buddhist nuns. So for example, just for Norway in 3rd century BC, we got the Buddhism for the Sri Lanka. So after that, so the first Sri Lankan Buddhist female was the Queen Anula, who became the Buddhist nun in Sri Lanka. So in the 11th and 19th century, Bhikkhuni dispensation was disappeared. So we can't find any kind of facts. We can't find any details in 11th and 19th century in Sri Lanka about the Bhikkhunis, about the Buddhist nuns. However, because of the non-Buddhist rulers, so the Bhikkhuni ordination was disappeared. But in 1905, again, the Dasasil Mata movement come to the Sri Lanka from the most venerable Buddhist nun, Sudhammachari. So in the Kandy, Lady Blake Nunnery. So this is the first time we can see after many centuries, Sri Lankan female get a chance to become a Buddhist nun. So my topic is Buddhist nuns education. Today I'm going to speak about that. So because of that, I would like to pay more attention about the education sector. So as we all know, in 1996, this is some sort of a revival points, how Sri Lankan Buddhist nuns community developed, how it's changed. In 1996 and the 1998, we have done high ordination with the help from the Mahabodhi Society, actually in the Buddha Gaya. They have started high ordination for the Bhikkhunis. So actually from the 9 to 17, the nuns education was not a big problem in Sri Lanka, because before the 1970s, most of the female entered to the Buddhist community was little bit elderly people. For example, the people who married and after done all the lady work, they when they want a spiritual development, they become a Buddhist nun. So in this period, for the more than 50 years, the Buddhist education, nuns education was not a big problem in Sri Lanka, actually. But when we come gradually, the number of the Buddhist nuns are increasing. When the small girls becoming Buddhist nuns, the Buddhist education, nuns education become a big problem in Sri Lanka. So according to the historical evidence, in 1972, the first Buddhist nun entered to the Sri Lankan National University in Sri Lanka. In 1972, the first Buddhist nun who entered to the Sri Lanka National University. And also, but we didn't have any kind of sponsorship from anybody. either government, either we don't have big lay community on that era because the number of Buddhist nuns are very few. So because of that, they started in 1987 in every district in Sri Lanka, the Buddhist nuns to teach their small nuns because they want to teach them how to preach, how to chant, and how to do the work with the people and how to explain the Dhamma to the people. So the very first thing we can find in our history in 1987, very firstly, they have started few education centers in Sri Lanka without any sponsorship. So from the 1987 to 2018, more than 20 years, more than 25 years. After that, still 8 Buddhist so there are 15 primary and secondary government Buddhist nuns education centers now in Sri Lanka. But from the 1987 to 2018, or even I studied on this year, we didn't have any kind of help from anybody. So this year, so today our topic is the challenges and the problems of the Buddhist nuns, past, present, and future. So the past in Sri Lanka, we had a big problem for the Buddhist nuns, how to take the education, how to go for the university, how to do primary and secondary opportunities that we have both to the world, but are the opportunities that we have to serve for the Sri Lanka, for the Dhamma people, how to serve for the people. So after 20 years, 2018, Sri Lankan government gave a chance to 8 Buddhist nunneries and Silamata, both education centers. Now, presently, there are more than 500 graduates in Sri Lanka, and they are working as teachers, government officers, as counselors. They are working in the government sector. And also, I'm really proud to say this, 500 graduates, there are 4 universities Buddhist nuns. So this is gradual development. So this development actually won from the unity of the Bhikkhunis. They work hard to take these opportunities. They work hard to, they always requested from the government. They always requested from all the authorized people to give this chance for the Buddhist nuns, 2018. So, however, my main point, that nuns education. So, I would like to say few problems which I see, which I study, which I research in Sri Lankan Buddhist nuns education. The very first problem is the spite of lineages. For example, this is my personal experience as a Buddhist nun. So, seminar series for the Buddhist nuns who facing for the final education, final examination in Pirivara. So I conducted that in 2020. So I invited all the Bhikkhuni and all the nuns education center come. We'll have a 4-day residential seminar series to support for their examination in 2004. The Bhikkhunis and Buddhist nuns, they really want Silmatas coming. Oh, Bhikkhunis coming. So despite of lineages, big problem for the nuns education. So after that, education department, they enacted, no, you all have to go this. Either you are a Bhikkhuni, either you are a Dasasilmata, it doesn't matter. You are a female ordered nun. So you have to go for this. So unity is a polity. So my request today is Bhikkhuni Day. Today is the day that Mahaprajapati Gautami become Buddhist nun. So today I would like to request for all the Bhikkhunis in this world. We have to maintain our unity with each other. Then we can go very big path. Then we can achieve every kind of problems. We can achieve every challenges with us if we are together. Bhikkhunis done their education. The next problem is Sri Lanka. So what are the next opportunities that they have? Some they are going for the teaching, some they are going to the government sector, but the language problem is coming the secondary, because some Bhikkhunis, they are really capable for Dhamma, they are really good for Dhamma, but they love to preach for the international level. The problem is language. So in Sri Lanka education sector, language education must be thoroughly enacted, because otherwise the Bhikkhuni never speak to the international level. We know that Bhikkhuni Kusuma, later Bhikkhuni Kusuma, very respected person, she did marvelous work because she knew the language very well with the Dhamma, and she chose the correct path. And I, as a young Bhikkhuni, I already read her books, and she always giving the facts for us. This is the facts that you can use when you need to establish Bhikkhuni ordination again. So she did everything because of the education. She's very capable because she knows the language very well. And the next thing is, for the Sri Lankan education, the major problem is national identity card in Sri Lanka, because most of the Bhikkhunis won't get national identity card as the Bhikkhunis. When the student want to face for examination, they need the national identity card. So government enacted Tahsil Mata as a person, authorized person to give the signatures. So some of the quarrels occur now because they won't like to give the signature. So because of that, some of the education problem is occurring in Sri Lanka, because they are not still there in Sri Lanka, they are not accepting the high ordination system. So as well as gender discrimination, I have identified the gender discrimination is highly problem once we go in the society. For example, in myself, I have faced a lot of problems in education sector, because we are going for the interviews, we are going for the university interviews for a month. It's okay, we are really respected, all the monks are really respected, but Bhikkhunis, as a Bhikkhuni, we have a chance if we are capable. The Buddha didn't discriminate us, Buddha gave the chance for us. Buddha didn't misologize us. So in Sri Lanka, I have identified if we can solve these problems, lining high ordination, national identity card problem, and gender discrimination. If we identify these problems, that if we can give answers, solutions for these problems, Sri Lankan Buddhist nuns will have very good education. Definitely, they will capable to solve all the problems in Sri Lanka with the high ordination problems. So the Buddha's advice for us, everyone. So today is a wonderful day. Today is the Bhikkhuni day. So Buddha always said that Charata Bhikkhave Charikam Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukaya Lokanukampaya, Atta Hitaya Sukaya Deva Manusanam, Maekina De Agamitta. All monks, so as Bhikkhunis, the many, the happiness of the many, the compassion and for the word, for the good and happiness of the good and men. Let two of you not go in the same direction. So we can give hand together, we can have a unity, as bhikkhunis. We can find Prajapati Gotami used very innocently and with the tolerance, with the brave ideas. If we can use these methods, definitely we can solve this problem. So I'm really respect the Mahabodhi Society, because they are always, all the respected monks, all the respected venerable sirs, they always helping us to solve our problems, especially for the bhikkhunis they are helping. So this time also I heard that they are going to establish new bhikkhuni we are really thankful as a Sri Lankan bhikkhuni. I'm really thankful for you to do like this, helping for the bhikkhunis, and I hope that you all will help us to solve these problems and give a more good education for the small nuns in Sri Lanka, because there are more than 1,500 primary and secondary schools. So they are the future of the Sri Lankan Bhikkhuni dispensation. So I hope that you all will help to solve this problem. So I propose that, because today's topic is challenges and the problems of the Bhikkhuni past, present, and future. So thank you very much for this opportunity. May the Triple Gem bless you. Namo Buddhaya.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Venerable Kunda Saleh Sopakaya, for your interesting presentation. Through that, we know more about the situation of Buddhist education for the nuns in Sri Lanka. And you can see that she still looks very young, but very good in English. And she told me she's a teacher with a diploma. So I agree with you that education is very important. With education, we Bhikkhuni will be more confident in ourselves, in our practice, and also in the contribution to the Dhamma propagation. Without education, we are not self-confident enough to do anything. That is why I always encourage my students here also in my nunnery and also at the university that now the opportunities are abundant for them to study, not only at schools, but also at temple, online, so many courses, so many books, so many materials, so many meditation centers. So if we are serious enough, and if we pay enough effort, then we can have attainment. So it is good for ourselves and good for the community also. So thank you so much again, Venerable, for your exciting
Thank you very much.
presentation. We also have another speaker from Sri Lanka, Venerable Uppalavanna, but today I got a message from her that she got the breathing problem and she was hospitalized since this morning, and she guessed maybe it is COVID. So we feel very sorry that our sister cannot come to join us here today. And I also request on our Sangha in the meeting here, send our metta, love and kindness to our Bhikkhuni Uppalavanna, who is in the hospital now, so that she can recover soon. And our next speaker is Venerable Bhikkhuni Thammadinna from India. I don't know whether you are here, Venerable Thammadinna. If you are here, please raise your hand and start your presentation. Thank you. Venerable Bhikkhuni Thammadinna. Maybe she is not here. I didn't see her name. Then I would like to invite Miss Gihani De Silva from Sri Lanka. Are you here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think you can hear me, Venerable Bhikkhuni.
Yes, we can hear and we can also see the slide sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Most Venerable Sivali Thero and Bhikkhu Sangha, Bhikkhuni Sangha, and distinguished scholars and my dear friends. Today, I'm going to focus on the topic of the unity of the Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka, especially because we have, I think we have focused on the Sukha Sangha Samaggi. So I'm going to focus on this topic because we have already heard about the challenges that Sri Lankan Bhikkhunis currently encountering. So in this presentation, I'm going to talk about what actually the Bhikkhunis are doing in Sri Lanka and to make a unity among them, because we know that although some scholars, they do not like to talk about different groups and different kind of lineages, different origins, roots about these ordinations. But here I would like to talk about them briefly and moving to the unity of the Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka. So, so this is this already chanted, and we know about this. So Sukha Sangha Samaggi is the bliss, is the harmony in the order. So I'm going to talk about this related to Sri Lankan Bhikkhuni community. I think I don't need to present this, even the brief history. We already know about the recent history of Bhikkhuni ordination in Sri Lanka. But however, if I mention it, because then we can understand the diversity first, and then we can move to the unity. So in 1988, it was the first ordination that Sri Lankan Bhikkhuni candidates participated. 11 Silmatas participated, but however only 5 remained for ordination. And when the newly ordained Bhikkhunis returned to Sri Lanka, neither the general public nor the media recognized them as Bhikkhunis, and they returned to their former lives as Silmatas according to Tessa Bartholomew's records. And in 1996, Sarnath ordination is a watershed point in the recent history, because this ordination, we know that Most Venerable Mapalagama Vipulasara and Korean Sangha involved in this ordination, and Venerable late Bhikkhuni Kusuma and 9 other Bhikkhuni candidates received high ordination in this ordination ceremony. And 1998 Bhikkhuni higher ordination at Buddha Gaya is another turning point within the recent history. There were mixed reaction to the 1996 high ordination. I'm not going to talk about it very deeply, but we know that some said that it's not Theravada enough, and there was some some groups and started to talk about this, debate about this. However, Sri Lankan bhikkhus such as Most Venerable Inamalu Sumangal and few others started to organize some Silmatas in Sri Lanka and selected them as the candidates for Bhikkhuni higher ordination. And they were, while they were trained at Kalundava Bhikkhuni Training Center, they received higher ordination invitation from Taiwanese Foguan Shan. And with some other candidates who introduced by Most Venerable Porogama Somalankara, these Bhikkhuni, these candidates received high ordination in 1998 with the help of 1996 group in India. And they returned to Sri Lanka very soon after the ordination, and these Bhikkhunis, especially in Dambulla, continued their high ordination events repeatedly in Sri Lanka. So here I'm coming to Naugala Bhikkhuni community. You might say whether confused about who this Naugala Bhikkhuni community. Actually, this Naugala Bhikkhuni community, it was Silmata community because it's affiliated to Naugala. And we know that under the guidance of Most Venerable Bhattakama Medananda, these Bhikkhuni candidates received their higher ordination in Taiwan for Guanshan in 2000 with the assistance of Ranjani de Silva and Chakedita. And also there are some other international ordination ceremonies took place under the guidance of Most Venerable Thalale Dhammalok in 2004 in Tapodanarame in Mount Lavinia. Next, we can talk about Dekhanduwala Bhikkhuni community. We know that Most Venerable Kirama Vimala Jyoti founded the Bhikkhuni Training and Meditation Center at Dekhanduwala. Here, some of the Naugala Bhikkhunis who ordained in Taiwan moved to the Dekhanduwala Center for training and meditation, and they now conduct higher ordination ceremonies for local and as well as international candidates in Dekhanduwala. And also, I would like to mention here, Shakidita Center also conducts higher ordination ceremonies for international candidates. This is, I think Bhikkhuni Liu Pap can identify this. I don't know, these Vietnamese Bhikkhuni candidates. In 2019, I witnessed this in International Bhikkhuni Higher Ordination ceremony in 2019 in Shakidita Center, Gorakhana. Because I use these photos because Sri Lankan Bhikkhunis are now serving as Bhikkhuni higher ordination specialists all together with other Theravada Bhikkhunis all over the world. So then I would like, so we have identified different groups like Dambulla, Dekhanduwala, and now Naugala Bhikkhunis. And some scholars and some activists, as I have mentioned earlier, they do not like to use these terms as differently because they consider this as one group. So how this happened? Because these different Bhikkhuni groups and different, because there were different people and individuals, interest groups involved in higher ordination. That is why we have to talk about this. But however, today, these different groups work together under one umbrella organization. That is the important thing. So they consider the unity in the diversity, how it happens. So this is the constitution of the All Island Bhikkhuni Congress, and I think it's the term is correct. I call it AIBC. So in an attempt to further advance the cause of the Bhikkhuni groups, in August 4, 2018, a coalition of Bhikkhuni organization, including Dambulla, Naugala, and Dekhanduwala, agreed to work together to found All Island Bhikkhuni Congress. And in this slide, you can see that how it works in Sri Lanka. So there are district congress, All Island Bhikkhuni District Congress. The Bhikkhunis can register in these districts, and there are some committee working there. And next level is All Island Bhikkhuni Congress. So it's kind of an executive committee that's selected by the members of this Bhikkhunis, and next level is All Island Bhikkhuni Supreme Advocacy Committee. This is important because in this committee, there are 20, and I think including the president and secretary, there are 22 members. And most importantly, 5 bhikkhus and 5 bhikkhunis and 5 upasikas and 5 upasakas represent here. And these representations come from the highest layer So from different Nikayas, 3 Nikayas, Siam, Ramanya, and Amarapura Nikaya, these monks are representing these 5 bhikkhu representatives, and also the bhikkhunis are representing from Dambulla, Naugala, Dekanduvala, and some other bhikkhunis. So you can see that they are coming together. This is the most supreme level that these bhikkhunis are taking decisions, and these decisions are going to the next level to organize themselves. So these are some photos you can see. 20th anniversary of 1998 Bhikkhuni higher ordination. These ceremonies in Sri Lanka, there are so many kind of ceremonies that Bhikkhunis celebrate, because there's a reason for that, and I can show you more about this. Is about the Sanghamita Therani procession in 2019. I have interviewed Venerable Rahatungoda Bhikkhuni, Saddha Sumana Bhikkhuni. According to her, she said that it needs to show the strength of the Bhikkhuni community in Sri Lanka, because that is the way that, because make an influence to the government and the other relevant authorities to make a move. That is the idea behind. And also you can see that in Sanghamita procession, these different Bhikkhuni groups comes together with their banners, and all together the unity you can see, especially here, unlike the past. So finally, what actually they are planning. So under the AIBC and also Supreme Advocacy Committee, now they are thinking about making a fund, because we know that for making these things move and forward, they need money. So they are planning a fund. And also, on the other hand, media and advertising campaign is kind of a prioritized project that Bhikkhunis are paying attention. Next is about working closely with the state institutions and departments, is prioritized by Bhikkhunis and this umbrella organization, because we know that Sri Lankan Bhikkhunis face many challenges, like like passport issues, identity card, and so many challenges. So still they think that they can work together with the state institutions, and they can make these institutions to recognize them. And final one is strengthening the district boards and planning some work that they have to do. So all the Bhikkhunis that I have interviewed and I have talked have very positive ideas, attitudes about what they are doing. And it's very important that these Bhikkhunis comes together, all these, because they can still keep their identity in different groups, because we know that they have separate constitutions, even belong to these different groups, but they comes together to celebrate the Sri Lankan Bhikkhunehood. That is the most important thing. I think I have summarized what I wanted to say in my presentation, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Especially I'm thanking Professor Bimalendra Kumar and Sivali Thero for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Sadhu. Thank you, Ms. Gihani Nisiwa. Thank you so much for your presentation. We are very happy to know that the Bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka are very united. They always collaborate together. When I observe, follow your presentation, I saw many very familiar places for me. I got a Samaneri ordination in Naugala, and Bhikkhuni ordination in Tabotana Ramaya, Mount Lavinia, Colombo in 2002. And Venerable Tamananda from Thailand got ordained in Dambulla. But we are also very united, very cooperative. I remember Venerable Tamananda wrote an article about the unity of the senior Bhikkhunis in the Theravada tradition, especially in Asia. You know, from the beginning, when I first established my nunnery here, when we want to establish a sima, we had only 2 bhikkhunis, not enough to do the Kamavacha. So we invited Venerable Tamananda and her bhikkhunis from the Samtamakanyani to come and help us to re-establish the Sima. And together, Venerable Tamananda and I also went to Indonesia to establish the Sima for Venerable Santini's temple. And together, we organized the international Bhikkhuni ordination in Sri Lanka as the Sakatita Training Center, and also 2 years ago in Bodh Gaya with the support of Mahabodhi Society of India, with Bhante Sivali as the preceptor. And Venerable Tamananda and I are also the preceptors for our students. And at that ordination ceremony, we have the presence of Venerable Tathaloka from the US, Venerable Santini from Indonesia, Venerable Sumangala from Malaysia, Venerable Vichitananda from Sri Lanka. We all came to India to be together, to cooperate with the help of with support of the Bhikkhu Sangha. We organize international Bhikkhuni ordination. So unity, solidarity is our strength. You know that we can break a separate stick, but we cannot break a bundle of sticks. So sticking together, solidarity, being united is our strength of the Sangha. So we are very happy with your presentation and with the understanding that the Bhikkhuni in the Theravada tradition in Sri Lanka is developing very quickly, and they are united very well. As far as I know, there are now more than 2,000 Bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka. Is it right? More than 2,000?
Yes, it is 2,000.
Yeah, it is a large number. So quite impressive. Thank you. And we have 2 more speakers tonight. The next is Miss Namrata Chatter from India. And after that is Miss Anpana Basu, also from India. And we have only about 30 minutes left for the 2 presentation and 1 interaction session, Metta Pavana and the Anumodana. So if possible, please, each of you confine your presentation in about 7 to 10 minutes. Thank you. First, I invite Ms. Namrata Chatter.
Namo Buddhaya, most venerable Bhikkhuni, and I am very grateful and I am expressing my heartfelt gratitude to most venerable Mahathero Sibye Bhanteji and Mahabodhi Society of India and all Bhikkhuni Sangha that they have given me this auspicious and wonderful opportunity to interact with you in this wonderful and auspicious day, full moon day, Purnima. As you can see me on screen, I am traveling since morning, and I think it's 7th hours. Since 7th hours, I'm traveling. I was in India's one of the most oldest jail. I had one program with women prisoners. And last month, when I started this program with women prisoners who are in prison, and who has committed some sort of crimes, or few of them are in prison without committing any crime because they don't have money to pay lawyer or something. So I have started this project to help them legally, emotionally, spiritually, and stand with them. Then when I was visiting them, then I was very confused. There was so much of ambiguity in me. What kind of talk I shall give to them? So I thought, let me start with the Lord Buddha's teaching, that is the Four Noble Truths. So I started teaching them, not teaching, it's a telling them, sharing them. And they were so happy about that. They were saying, Madam, we want to learn more and more about this. So then I realized that there is so many work I have to do in the center, which is the excluded women. I'm working for sex workers, women who are in this profession, women who are in jail, women who are in distress. But unfortunately, we don't have in India that bhikkhuni who can speak and interact with their own language, dialects, and they can teach them properly. So whenever we are having a Mahabodhi Society, wonderful temple in Odisha, and we are having a very good monks from Sri Lanka. Our most venerable Mahathero Sivli Bhanteji is from Sri Lanka, and he speaks English as well as the local language, Hindi, our national language too. But in these spaces, I mean that these places, distress home or sex workers places or the jail, women prisoners place, they don't allow any male members. So I was thinking, if anybody this technology can help me, so I can record their message of all the bhikkhunis all over India. And if they will speak in English, I can translate into their own language. If we are in Odisha, I can translate into Odia. If we are in Bengal, we can translate to Bengali or any other vernacular language or Hindi. So we can teach them these things. It is a somewhat simple idea came in my mind. When Venerable Bhante told me this is International Bhikkhuni Day and you have to speak for that, I am thinking I am blessed that they have given me this opportunity. I am nothing but a very humble upasika. We are having a very, very good members in our governing body, Mahabodhi Society of India. We are having 9 centers in India, beautiful centers. I am requesting everyone who is present over here through this new technology webinar that please do visit our temples, just very, very well managed. We have having an affiliated center all over the world. But I wanted to tell you one thing. In Mahabodhi Society of India, in one of the meeting, I was asking, why don't we have a bhikkhunis in our center? So a few of them were saying, okay, we will see, because we don't have any designated place or any monastery or any temple where the bhikkhuni can stay, because there is so much of demand. I am very, very much involved in my life members of this society. I am so much associated with that, and we are, I want to share, because since last month I am traveling from this area to that area, this jail to that jail for programs. I am not able to make any particular presentation for this session. I am really very, very sorry about that, but I want to share with you in the time of funny or cyclone or this corona period, Mahabodhi societies, all upasak and upasikas, all venerable bhikkhus, all has came forward and they donated, they work very hard for. We have also distributed and helped the migrant laborers. So they don't have a identity card, they don't have a ration card, they are deprived from any government service facilities. So we identified those people who are the poorest of the poor, who are in the last receiving end, and we try to approach that, because we all do believe in Dhamma. We all do believe in a dana. We all do believe in a Buddha's teaching. As a gender expert, I used to give my lecture on gender sensitization. I always propagate and teach my students and everyone that Buddha is the only, our Lord Buddha was the only person, revolutionary. He was the only person who propagated the rights of gender equality and rights of women. who assert the rights of women in the patriarchal society like India, where we are having a feudal society, kingships were there, women were not respectable in society at their home. So that teaching, that revive we need in our society. Now in modern days also we see so much of crime, so much of unhappiness around here and there in urban areas, or whether it's in tribal area. Then we have to teach. It is our duty, I think. It is a part of our life because God has given this blissful life to us, and it is a part of us that we are associated with such a beautiful organization, very meaningful organization, Mahabodhi Society of India and other Buddhist organization. So it is our duty, I think. We have to spread the message of metta, compassion, karuna to each and everyone. And that is the only thing we can do for the betterment of our civilization, of our society, and especially for our women. So language is no bar. I think if you are really doing dedicatedly Dhamma and you are spreading, you want to spread your message to others, there are many translators, they can work for you. But it is, we need a Bhikkhuni Sangh in our Mahabodhi Society too, because we need so many Bhikkhunis in India. It is a multilinguistic, multicultural, multi-ethnic group society, and people are seeing in so much of ambiguity, what to do, what not to do when they are in a confusion. And there are so many bad sources, negative sources, approaching in a very ill conceived manner or convoluted manner. So this is our duty as a Mahabodhi Society's member. We have to stand together with the other societies, with the other part of the, whether they are from the different ideology of the Buddhism, whether they are from Mahayana or Theravada. We have to stand together, we have to support, and we have to promote this Buddhism. And for the Bhikkhunis, we have to establish more center in India. We need more Bhikkhuni in India, because we need more compassion, love, and blessings for them. And I'm very thankful to Chair. So sweetly you are conducting, Venerable Bhikkhuni, this program so beautifully. I was listening to everyone, and I think I am the blessed. This is the full moon night, and just like a full moon is spreading its light equally to everyone, I think they blessed me like this, and they blessed each and every woman in this world equally. And I don't have any formal presentation or PDF or slides, but I wanted to share these things with you all. And I request to you all, to all Bhikkhunis, whenever we are talking about Dhamma, we are talking about Karuna, Meti, we have to see the women who are totally excluded, and we have to try our best to include them in this mainstreaming of society. And you have given me this such what I am saying, I am become so emotional that this opportunity to interact with you, share my thoughts with you, and I'm requesting in front of all of you, because our Bhanteji, Sibli Bhanteji has taken this first step when the Sri Lankan Bhikkhunis were telling about the Mahabodhi societies 25 years back. They have taken this step to introduce the ordination of Bhikkhuni. I am requesting our Mahathero Siviliji that yes, definitely we have to start these kind of tradition in India too under his leadership, because he is the person who started Dhamma talk every Sunday, and he was requesting each and every woman of our society, please you come forward along with our other trustees, Mahendra Singh ji, please come forward, and women should speak on Dhamma, women should participate in Dhamma talk. And this is I think the first stepping stone or first step towards reaching our goal. And there are many women are waiting. They are just waiting for yes to them. They are waiting. They are not only waiting, they are crying. They are asking for, okay, we want to be a Bhikkhuni. We want to follow those paths, that whether it's a Vinay path or rules, whatever they wanted, a fixed guideline for them, they wanted to do that. But there are many around us who wanted to be a bhikkhuni. I know this is a very difficult test. There is so many steps we have to cover, many women, but they are associated so much of with Dhamma, with Karuna, with Mehti, with compassion, trust, everything. So I think this, on this auspicious day, International Bhikkhuni Day, when the Mahaprajapati Gautami, when asked Lord Buddha that they wanted to attain this bhikkhuni, and the Sangha started Vaishali after the first, after the just 5 years of attaining the enlightenment of Lord Buddha. So I think in India, especially from the Mahabodhi Society, I'm very hopeful that the time is not so late. It will come, then we can see, along with all Indonesians, Sri Lankan, Japanese, American, all our Dhamma sisters, Bhikkhuni, all over the world, and my Indian sister will be a
I'm
part
sorry,
of this.
sister, but time is over. Huh? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya.
Yeah, I know, because you are in the car and you don't know the time.
Yes.
And,
Yes. Thank you.
So because at the beginning I asked that each speaker should take only 7 to 10 minutes, and now already 14 minutes. 14 minutes. That's why I had to strike the bell. Sorry for that.
Oh,
and
I am extremely sorry for that. I have took so much of time, but thank you very much. Namo
yes, but
Buddhaya.
anyways, we also very inspired to see Upasika who is very devoted, very dedicated to the Dhamma, studying and practicing. And now we have another Upasika from India.
Thank you. Thank you. Namo Buddhaya.
Yeah, please. Miss Ampana Basu. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Namo Buddhaya to everyone, to all monks and bhikkhunis. Today is a very holy day because Buddhist community in this day mark as Madhu Purnima. On such a holy day, the Lord Buddha was staying in that Parilyo forest and ape gave him honey. Since then, in this particular full moon day, Buddhists donated honey to the Buddha. In this particular date, Buddha gave the highest ordination to the women and included them in his Bhikkhuni Sangha, and Bhikkhuni Sangha was started through Mahaprajapati Gautami. So I need not narrate another all these things. I'm just telling a few words because bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, they have both equal qualities, merits, etc. But some few merits I want to share with you. That is, we know that is Supatipanno, Ujupatipanno, Anyayapatipanno, etc. These all the merits of the bhikkhus we have narrated in everywhere. But these all merits exist in the bhikkhunis also, nuns also. They are also educated in Buddha's teaching, and they are holy, they are compassionate, and they are merciful and dutiful also. But in that Buddha's time, society could not allow them to enter in the bhikkhu sanghas. But Lord Buddha is the first person who gave this right and honored the women in this world. So it is so today is the International Bhikkhunis Days. So I must congratulate all the bhikkhunis and convey my prayer to them. So and thereafter I want to say that at the time of Buddha there was no written record for. So there are. It is hard to that when Buddha included big women in big sanghas, that time he has imposed 8 conditions. And if we see in the Majjhima Nikaya and others, Vinaya Pitaka, etc., we can find that 312 rules for the bhikkhunis. And this is very it is entering from the Bhikkhuni Sangha. Women are struggling too much because all others bhikkhus, those came from the mostly Brahman society, they are not easily erased their Brahmanical culture in spite of they have adopted Buddha's path and views, etc. So, but they are already controlled by the bhikkhunis, was controlled by the bhikkhus. but both they are not the rival of each other, not the struggler of the each other. So it is not the Buddha's rules, because that time there was not a written form. 82,000 sutras was given by the Buddha, and 2,000 sutra was given by his main disciples who came from the Brahmanical society. So it is easily we can understand that it is not imposed by the Buddha, it is later inclusion. You know, everybody knows that, I need not explain it, that how long it is stay, Bhikkhuni Sangha was stay so long in this world. But it is my opinion that Bhikkhuni Sangha maybe disappeared, but it was not finished. It was not finished. It is maybe disappeared, but somehow it is hidden thing is there. But if we look in this present world, we can see that Bhikkhuni is now, and in different countries, as explained in the other Bhikkhunis also. So it is very hopeful for us. If we see that in Myanmar, Buddhist nuns for children, they are including Bhikkhuni Sanghas for they are completing lives, etc. And they are happy in that, though monastic life of the girl is very hard than the boy. And in also other countries, so the Tibet also, we can see that building of the future, their Tibetan women, they are entering in the Bhikkhu Sanghas, and great Dalai Lama, the spiritual speaker, he also giving ordinations of the Bhikkhunis, etc. Today, our Buddhist nuns, they are very active and they are not give up easily their place, whether they are Theravadi or they are Mahayani, etc. In December 2018, Tibetan spiritual leader, His Holiness Dalai Lama said that Buddha has given the freedom, equal rights to the both of gender. So when he was asked that in future whether a woman can be a next future Dalai Lama, he said that yes, both gender, and Buddha has given the equal right to the both gender, and that Tibet and India and I think all over the world, master of the high ordination has been female as well. So today's Buddhist nuns are very active, and which I can see here in different countries, their presentation, it is very inspiring. And I'm very honored that I have entered in this webinar and can share this screen with all the dignitaries, speakers, and Bhikkhuni, learned Bhikkhunis here. So it is, I'm very grateful to all of you. And I am grateful to all the Venerable P. Sevili Thero, who has given me the opportunity to speak in front of all the eminent speakers. So it is my really, this full moon day is also for auspicious for me, and Buddha blessing me. This I can feel it in nowadays. So hope in future also, under the guidance of our Venerable P. Shivali Thero, India will also increase the non-associations, etc. So with this, my concluding my submission, that in future also we can see the female in higher level of the Sangha. So I'm very grateful to all of you who are listening me, who are tolerating last few minutes. So thank you very much. Thank you all of you who have allowed me to speak here.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu,
sadhu. Yeah, this is very good to hear you speak and quote many lines from the Buddha's sutras. I studied in India for more than 10 years, and I was very impressed with the lady teachers in the Buddhist departments. Most of the teachers there are very knowledgeable in the Dhamma. And here today we have the 3 ladies speaking in our seminar, and we are happy that today the fourfold Sangha, Bhikkhus, Bhikkhunis, Upasaka and Upasika, assembled together and in the very harmonious atmosphere on the full moon day to commemorate the establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. And now we have finished on the presentation, And we have some minutes for the interaction session. Here I saw many Bhikkhunis like Ayya Sutama from the US, Ayya Falanyani from Germany, Ayya Sumangala from Malaysia, and some Sikhamana Samaneri from Indonesia and Sri Lanka, etc. I would like to invite on the audience, if you have any questions or any comments or any suggestions, please feel free to share your ideas. Please raise your hand and take the mic. Anyone would like to say something?
Is this a good time for me to speak?
Yes.
So this is Sudama from Charlotte Buddhist Vihara. And some of you may have noticed something I just put into the chat. I want to say, of course, this is a wonderful program. I'm so grateful to all the organizers. And I want to make this announcement that it is just decided at a board meeting of my support board of the Charlotte Buddhist Vihara that this property that has been rented for Bhikkhuni residents for the last 8 years will be purchased. And I spoke to the landlord about this the first time last night, and he said yes, and even he will sell it to us for the price he paid for it, even though the house value has doubled since then. And you are hearing it first. I hope this is not out of season. I have not even told all of the supporters yet that this has occurred. Even most of my board members haven't heard back what the landlord said. But on this auspicious occasion of this 25th anniversary of the ordinations at Saranath, what a wonderful occasion. And this was sparked in great part with the passing of Venerable Kusuma. I was thinking, what would honor her? What we really, really need is housing. We need great leadership, but that is hard to just manifest. But we also need housing, and it's a real pinch point, at least here in the States. And so I thought, this is something I would like to make happen in honor of Venerable Kusuma. And I am so thrilled that I am getting green lights around it. And I just wanted to share that with everyone here today. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Venerable, because getting the land is not an easy thing. So you have rented it for 8 years, and only last night you can get it. So it is really a great news, and we all share the joy of your Sangha. And I agree that with you that housing is a big problem for the Sangha. And here, by the way, I also would like to encourage on the lay people, Upasaka, Upasika, if possible, you can contribute in housing the monks and the nuns, because when you offer a house, a vihara, it is not only for one monk or some monks, and not only for one generation, but for many monks from the 10 quarters, and also from these generations to other generation. It is a very long-lasting benefit for the Sangha. It is a great merit.
So this is just our first step. It's just a little first baby step. We have not even begun the fundraising. Right now, Adimutti in New Zealand is already doing the fundraising, and Ayachanda in England is doing fundraising. And in Belgium also, Vimala is doing fundraising. So there are efforts here and there. I want everyone to be aware of. Thank you.
While preparing for this webinar, Venerable Bhante Sivali, the General Secretary of the Mahabodhi Society of India, sent me an email in which he said that we really need some senior Bhikkhunis to play the role of the leaders, to cooperate. for the activities of the International Bhikkhuni Sangha. This reminded me of our meeting in Bodh Gaya in the year of 2019 when we met at the Mahabodhi Society of India in Bodh Gaya with Bhante Sivali and most of the CNL Bhikkhunis from Asia, and even Venerable Tataloka was also there. We were discussing about how to form an international organization for our Bhikkhunis. You know, while we preparing the flyer for this conference, we had only the logo of the Mahabodhi Society, and I would like to find another logo to put on the other side. But we cannot put the Sakatita logo here because it is not by the Sakatita. And I don't find any, you see that until now, we don't have an official organization for Bhikkhunis, and we don't have an official logo on or a banner, a flag under which we come and work together. So concerning this problem, I would like to invite Venerable Sivali Thera Mahathera, General Secretary of the Mahabodhi Society, to say some words to encourage and to support our Bhikkhuni Sangha. Please, Bhante.
Yeah, thank you, Bhikkhuni. Thank you very much. Yes, we have discussed this matter, I think, a few years back, as you rightly mentioned. But somehow it couldn't happen. I don't know what has happened. So I hope that in the future, as soon as possible, I think it is the need of the hour that you should have more collaboration and more coordination internationally. Because it's still the Bhikkhuni order in a very basic level, still the foundation level. So it need to be united. And for a few things that I have mentioned last night, I think I wrote to Bhikkhuni Maladam. And I have also discussed in emails with Bhikkhuni Venerable Tathaloka on this matters, that it's very important to have that kind of international Bhikkhuni directory, to have in this way. Maybe the next conference you can have more Bhikkhunis in various countries, and also one formal council that the Bhikkhunis can address their own. I think some have already. Bhikkhuni Tataloka mentions he already had some, that Bhikkhuni Alliance, that so it can be that name also, like World Bhikkhuni Council or something like that you can discuss about that matter. And also few Bhikkhunis, I think, like Bhikkhuni Dhammananda is also now senior and becoming old, you know, everything is subject to change. It's old age, it's difficult. So some middle-aged nuns must come forward with the support and guidance of senior Bhikkhunis for more effective and more meaningful future activities of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. We are very much happy to give support whatever we can. I think many Upasaka are here, listening to this Dhamma talk, and Upasikas. They agree, I think, mostly in many of our Dhamma talks. We are having every Sunday Dhamma talks. Almost all the members supporting this, how to support Bhikkhuni order, especially our Dr. Mahendra Singh, one of Vice President of the society, always encouraging how the MBS Mahabodhi Society could support. And also it is not new, Mahabodhi Society. From the very beginning, I think, when Bodhisattva Anagarika Dhammapal, how he support. I didn't have much idea about this when I listening to Bhikkhuni's Tathaloka's speech. It was mentioned that how the first Bhikkhunis come in USA, and some, I think that time, maybe not that Bhikkhunis, but Samaneris, under the guidance of Anagarika Dhammapal. So I think we are doing and following his path, his steps. I think this is our duty. So please consider about this. Maybe you can have a small committee to discuss these matters with a few senior Bhikkhunis and some junior also now very active in some other countries. So please consider about this matter after this conference. And also we have another discussion, another event in November, that is anniversary of 24 years of Bhikkhuni order. So we are going to celebrate these too. So I would request Bhikkhunis, please, you can organize that. We can support. Yes, we can support. So thank you, Bhikkhuni Vimala. Please, you can continue. I think any member or any well-wisher can also speak.
Thank you so much.
Can I also say something?
Yeah, please.
This is Palaniani Terry from Germany, Anenja Vihara. And I greet you all and my seniors, much respect to you. And I just wanted to mention that I'm working on a website which is called bhikkhunis.org. It's an English-speaking website where bhikkhunis can publish their teachings. And you have to register, and then you can put on courses, you can put Dhamma talks, your publications. If you have written some books or anything, you can publish. And it would be not only for Theravada Bhikkhunis, but it's intended for Bhikkhunis. I mean, also Bhikshunis. So I would like to invite you to check out. It's so far all in my name. So if you see if there's a course, an example course, for example, Pali pronunciation or whatever, it has all my name because I'm just building this website. Not so far, no other bhikkhunis have contributed, but I'm hoping that sooner or later these days or in the next month, bhikkhunis will come together and contribute their teachings on this website. And so also we can have a group and chat on this website. So so far the video chat is too expensive, but also we can have Zoom meetings from that website. So that is what I wanted to share with you. I invite you, please check out and register.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Venerable, for making such a very interesting website for the Bhikkhunis of all traditions. So certainly we will visit your website, and if we have something to publish, then we can ask you to help us. Yes, please.
I think Bhikkhuni managed from Malaysia.
And I saw Venerable Analaya raise her hand. Please take the mic, Venerable.
Very good.
Okay. Venerable, my respect to all the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. I congratulate Venerable Palanyani for the initiative to start a website that invites bhikkhunis to contribute and also perhaps network and actually meet together and talk about things. I think that is a very good initiative for collecting all the together for a particular purpose or specific topic. And I also want to congratulate this Mahabodhi Society for taking the initiative also to organize this webinar. I'm a little bit surprised because I only learned about the webinar, this webinar, yesterday. So I suppose the publicity for it hasn't been very widely spread. But I think we should have more of this type of meetings, because especially if you want to form a group, a governing group or a council, you actually need to know who are out there and who are interested in getting it all together. So in having a webinar like this, well-publicized webinar, and getting more people to participate, and more people to get to know together so that the ideas can gel up, you know. At the moment, you only have an idea that you want to have a governing council. But how does this governing council work? And all this sort of thing, you need contribution of ideas from the community. So to get contributions from the community, you need to reach out to the community as widely as possible, instead of only to selected groups of here and there, you know. Try to get all this gathering, news of publicity of this gathering out to as many people as possible. In that way, you know, people learn about what you want, and then they know whether they can contribute or not. And if they can, and if you've reached out to them, then you've given yourself an opportunity and other people an opportunity to put the idea together and work on it. So what I'm saying is this, that in short, we need to reach out to as many people as possible and get their ideas. And then from these ideas, consolidate on approaches. Then perhaps a council can be formed. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Analaya. And I also would like to say sorry for not letting you know earlier. When Bhante Sivali was preparing for this conference, he sent email to many bhikkhunis around the world, but more or less we omitted some names. When I saw the Bhikkhunis here by Venerable Falanyani, Venerable Sutama, or Venerable Analaya, so I think that Pante's idea that we should have a directory of the Bhikkhunis temple or nunnery around the world so that we can connect with one another more effectively. I hope that after this webinar, we can come closer, we can have more interaction so that we can cooperate better for the future. And also, Pante asked me to give an announcement for the next event. It will be on the full moon day of November. There will be another webinar, and he said that this time, because the topic is about the Bhikkhuni, that's why he did not invite the Bhikkhu to attend. But the next event in full moon day of November, there will be more Bhikkhus, Bhikkhunis, Upasaka and Upasika to come together to discuss very important issues concerning our career of monastic life and also Dhamma propagation. So I think that now it is time to end our discussion. And next, I would like to invite Venerable Santini to guide the Metta Vamana for 5 minutes before we have the vote of thanks and Anumodana. Please, Venerable Santini.
To Bhikkhuni Upalawana.
Venerable, please unmute your mic because someone has disturbed, so I shut off your mic. Please open the mic again.
Okay, yeah?
Yes.
Commemorating International Bhikkhuni Day, let us now practice metta in our hearts and then spread it to Bhikkhuni Upalawana and to our close environment and go wider and wider. Let us spread our metta to all beings with this metta bhavana and with the power of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. May all hindrances for Bhikkhuni Sangha progress be destroyed, making the 4 Buddhist pillars equally stronger to bring benefits to humanity. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Meditation begins. Meditations ends. May we keep on practicing our metta in our daily life, making it better and stronger so that it gives peace to us and people around us. Thank you.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Venerable Santini, for guiding Metta Bhavana. And next, I would like to invite Venerable Tatalo Katheri to give the Anumodana. Would you please? I'm sorry for not informing you in advance, but I hope that you are still there. If you are not there, then on behalf of the Bhikkhuni Sangha who are present here, we would like to share our merits that we have done, especially in this evening. We have together here to dedicate our goodwill, and share our experience, our contribution, and we learn from one another a lot. So we dedicate this merit to all the Mahatheris in every country, to our masters, to our companions in the Dhamma, to all the supporters, the donors who have provided us with the 4 requisites, and to all the living beings. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful, and safe from all the dangers, and attain the Nibbana very soon in this very life. Bhavatu sabba mangalam radham tu sabba devata sabba bhuta nupavena sabba dhamma nupavena sabba sangha nupavena sada sohi bhavantu te.
sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
And yes, and next I would like to invite Professor Dr. Bimalendra Kumasin, Head of Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies, Banaras Hindu University, and also the coordinator of the International Bhikkhuni Day. Please deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Most Venerable Dr. Liu Fap. Most Venerable Mahabhikkhu Sangha, Most Venerable Mahabhikkhuni Sangha, Mahaupasikaj, Mahaupasakaj, all Dhamma brothers and sisters, and the observers and the participants, and Venerable Bhikkhunis who are speakers of this international webinar on the occasion of Bhikkhuni Day. So it gives me immense pleasure, as well as it gives me immense pride and honor to tell something on behalf of Mahabodhi Society of India. We are hearing from 6 o'clock regarding the significance and challenges from the most venerable Bhikkhunis. They are sharing their views from the inner core of their heart, how they are struggling, how they are reviving, how they are making efforts for the establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. But to me, the most challenges before us, that and before especially Theravada Buddhism, that whether it can revitalize Bhikkhuni order or not. The major challenge before our Theravada Buddhism is that whether we can help to revitalize or to revive the Bhikkhuni Sangha or not. There are some questions that if there are some women who want to restart the Bhikkhuni Sangha, why should they be stopped? What does it matter that the continuity of the ordination has been interrupted or stopped, or the ordination ritual has been stopped? Let those who care for the spirit, not for the letter, and for living according to the teachings of the Buddha and principles, we should welcome the one development which has the power to preserve the Theravada Buddhism for many generations. And I would like to request all my senior religious leaders of Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, especially to the leaders of Mahabhikkhu Sangha, that they should be open-minded. They should be clear-hearted also, that how they can disseminate the teachings of the Buddha. Although Sri Lanka is considered as a pioneer of Theravada Buddhism, but still we are seeing that how the ladies or women who have been given ordination in India and even in Sri Lanka also, they are socially marginalized in Sri Lanka also. They have renounced their household life. They cannot enter in their house, and even the Bhikkhuni Sangha of Sri Lanka, they are also not accepting the Seal Mata. The conditions of the Seal Mata is very pitiable in Sri Lanka and in other places also. And they cannot enter into the order also. They cannot stay inside the Bhikkhuni's Aram or Vihara. They are sleeping on the roads or the streets of the Sri Lanka. So sometimes thus the Sila Matas are socially marginalized. Even in Myanmar, I have seen that you Narad, a famous Buddhist scholar of the last 20th century. He had composed Milind Pahiyo At Katha. And in Milind Pahiyo At Katha, he has written on the sensitive issue of the reopening of the Bhikkhuni Sangha in Myanmar. And that book, which was written in Pali, that was banned by the Burmese government. And it was not circulated also, because that book discusses about the reopening of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, and there were some sensitive issues. So just I would like to request our religious leaders, especially in Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Myanmar, to be open-minded, to be clear, you can say, to open to all Bhikkhuni Sangha. Buddhism considers that all are equal. All people are equal, irrespective of any color, caste, and creed. All are, even we see that the Chattaro Banna Sab Sama Hunti. Buddha says that all are equal, and whosoever sees that one is inferior or one is senior, according to caste or color, it is called as papakam ditthikatam. It is false views. So these are the things, and we see that Buddha also formed the four parisas: Bhikkhu parisa, Bhikkhuni parisa, Upasak parisa, and Upasika parisas. But we see that how Bhikkhu parisa became dominated in our society after the generations, after the Mahaparidnibbana of the Buddha. And Bhikkhuni parisa did not got to that place after the Mahaparidnibbana of the Buddha also. And in so many suttas of the Pali literature, we have references that Buddha says that all women are having equal intelligentsia. All women have their equal quality in all respect, and in sometimes they are superior than men also. And even in the case of Patachara or Dhammadinna or Kachayana, the Buddha praises about their intelligentsia. So Buddha does not make any distinctions, but later generations, we are having so many things. So we have to request our religious leaders, we must fearlessly stand up and tell the world over that Buddhism is meant to apply the teachings of the Buddha to the whole humanity, to the whole people, to the whole public or private. So we have to understand and act accordingly to the teachings of the Buddha. We must acknowledge that Buddhism is for all, including all women also. And the women should be also objects of our love and compassion. That is the metta and karuna. So with these words, what I feel that what are the major challenges before the Bhikkhuni Sanghi is that how Bhikkhu Sangh treats the Bhikkhuni Sanghs. So here I would, on behalf of Mahabodhi Society of India, I am just paying a sense of gratitude to all the speakers, especially most venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammanand, who spoke as a keynote speaker on the issues of challenges in Thailand also. We are very much grateful to our most venerable Bhikkhuni Tathaloka of California, USA, for giving a wonderful speech and the historical origin and development of our Bhikkhuni Sangha, and how they are aspiring for their liberation, and how they are struggling for the revival of Buddhism, and how they are also struggling for the equality, gender equality. So it was wonderful. on behalf of Mahabodhi Society of India, we'd like to pay our thanks, special thanks to our venerable, most venerable Bhikkhuni Tathalok also. We are also grateful to our speakers, most venerable Bodhichit of Sri Lanka, Subhagya Kalyani from Sri Lanka also. Then we are also thankful to Venerable Bhikkhuni Karma Sonam Palmo from Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies, Saranath. She has given a wonderful talk on the issues of the Tibetan Buddhism, that how the nuns are facing challenges in Tibetan Buddhism. So I am also thankful to Gihani de Selva for giving a wonderful talk on the challenges and how they are constitutional aspects of Bhikkhuni Sangha in Sri Lanka. She has given a very wonderful PPT on that subject. So on behalf of Mahabodhi Society of India, all the governing body members and life members, I pay thanks to our Gihani de Silma. Again, Silmata Kundasale Subhagya and Bhikkhu Upalavanna, she could not be able to join our talk due to some health problem. So, Venerable Sakyadhit Dhammadin, she also could not join. And we are also thankful to our sisters, Mrs. Alpana Basu, as well as Dr. Namrata Chadha, for giving their or sharing their views on behalf of our Mahabodhi Society of India. I pay heartfelt thanks to both of them. Again, the speakers who are left on behalf of Mahabodhi Society of India, I also pay respect and special thanks to all the speakers. Then I am coming to the all Bhikkhu in charge of all centers of Mahabodhi Society of India, Most Reverend Bhikkhu, Venerable Bhikkhu Sumitanand of Mahabodhi Society of India, Sarnath Center, Venerable Rahul Bhante of Mahabodhi Society of India, Bodhgaya Center, and other Bhikkhu, Venerable Dr. Medhankar Bhante of Mahabodhi Society of India, Kolkata Center, and Bhikkhu in charge of Mahabodhi Society of Calcutta and Lumbini Center. So we are very much thankful for all the Bhikkhu in charge of all the centers of Mahabodhi Society of India. I am also thankful to all the trustee members, Vice President Dr. Mahinder Singh, all the Vice Presidents of Mahabodhi Society of India, governing body members of Mahabodhi Society of India, life members of Mahabodhi Society of India, who have observed this international webinar on the event of 26th 105 year of Bhikkhuni establishment or Bhikkhuni establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. Again, we are very much thankful, or I pay heartfelt thanks to all the most venerable Bhikkhunis, Upasikas, and the Bhikkhus who are observing this international webinar on Bhikkhuni Sangha, as a participants, as an observer. So on behalf of Mahabodhi Society of India, I pay my respect to all of you and all of the participants also. Last but not least, I am also thankful to Venerable Bhikkhuni Liu Fab with the Dhamma of Vietnam. She has taken a lot of pain, strains from the day on which we decided to hold this international webinar on Bhikkhuni Sangha. And it was the idea of our most venerable Bhikkhu P. Sivali Thero, who started international webinar on each Purnima. From the Buddha Jayanti, we are celebrating on the full moon day an international webinar. We did our Buddha Jayanti on the Vaisakh Purnima. Again, on the Jyesht Purnima, we celebrated our Dhammacakkapavattan Divasa. Again, in the Asad Purnima, we celebrated our first establishment of our Dhamma Sangiti. We hold an international seminar on the Dhamm Binay Sangiti. And again in this month, on this Bhikkhuni, on this full moon day, we are celebrating the establishment of 22,605th year of establishment of Bhikkhuni Sangha. So these are all the, you can say, encouragement and support, moral guidance of Most Venerable P. Sivali Thero. So on behalf of this Bhikkhuni Day, on behalf of all the speakers, all the participants, all the observers, Upasaka and Upasikas, I pay great reverence to Most Venerable P. Sivali Thero. Again, we are very much thankful for conducting this international webinar in a very befitting manner by our moderator, Venerable Bhikkhuni Liu Phap. Thank you very much. May all the beings be happy. Sabbe satta bhavanti sukhitatta, arogino khemno hontu, sabbe satta bhavanti sukhitatta. Let all beings be happy. Thank you very much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
It's very, very caring, very thoughtful to mention everyone who have contributed to make this webinar successful, meaningful, and fruitful. I think that all the audience here had a very good time to gather here together among the Dharma brothers and sisters. We are all the sons and daughters of the Buddha. We are on the same way to practice the Dhamma, to attain Nibbana. So to end our function
Venerable
today.
Bhikkhuni Liu Phap,
Yes.
I have just two announcements. That
Yes.
as our most venerable P. Sivali Thero has announced that there will be a an international webinar on Kartik Purnima in the month of November. We are having another international webinar. So this time we'll have revival of Bhikkhuni Sangha from 1996 to 2021. That how 25 years the Mahabodhi Society of India, who took initiative in 1996 for the ordination of the Bhikkhuni or women into the Buddhist order. And it is 2021 when P. Sivali Thero, Mahathero, has taken another initiative to revive this Bhikkhuni Sangha by coordinating all the bhikkhunis all over the globe. So it will be a great pleasure that if all the bhikkhunis, all the bhikkhus, upasak and upasikas would gather together for 2 days international webinar on the revival of Bhikkhuni Sangha and commemorating the 25 years of our initiative of the Mahabodhi Society of India for the ordination of Bhikkhunis. Another thing that on behalf of our Reverend P. Sivali Thero, General Secretary, Mahabodhi Society of India, I would like to announce that Mahabodhi Society of India is planning to award 5 most venerable bhikkhunis who have contributed, who have dedicated their whole life for the education, for the upliftment of the bhikkhunis, for the upliftment of the society. So our General Secretary is considering that 5 bhikkhunis must be given honorable member of Mahabodhi Society of India. So he will declare on that coming international webinar in Kartik Purnima in the month of November that these 5 bhikkhunis will be our honorable members of Mahabodhi Society of India. So with these 2 announcements, I thank you very much to you all.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Professor Bimalendra Kumar, for your announcement. And we are looking forward to participate in the next webinar. Even though we set up for nearly 4 hours, but we feel very blessed, very happy to be with our Dhamma friends. So, and also another good news is the including of the bhikkhunis into the membership of the Mahabodhi Society of India. It is a very, very new, very great idea. So we are really grateful to the Mahabodhi Society for always giving support to the Buddhist women, to the Bhikkhuni Sangha. Without you, we cannot be fully ordained Bhikkhuni. So with our great gratitude, we would like to wish on the Pante Sivali Mahathero and on the members of the Mahabodhi Society of India, and also on the members of the Bhikkhu Sangha and the Bhikkhuni Sangha, Upasaka, Upasikas here, good health, happiness, and success. And finally, we would like to invite Venerable Sivali Mahathero to recite the 3 stanzas from the Dhammapada to conclude our webinar here. Please, Bhante.
I would request all our monks, please join us and all our participants. Sabba papassa karanam usalasya sampada Sajitanta Pariyo Dapadanam Etam Buddhana Sasanam Anti Paramam Tapotitikha Nibbanam Paramam Vadanti Buddha Nahi Pabbajito Parupagati Samano
Hotu
Param Vihetaya
Anupavado
Anupavatu Patimukhe cha sambaro
Matantanyavaja
Vatsami
bhaktasmi Vantancha sayanasanam Adichitte
Ayago
Etam Buddhana Sahasranam
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So we have to depart now. We wish you a good night if you are in Asia and a good day if you are in America, and hope we can meet again in the next webinar organized by the Mahabodhi Society of India. All the best and with metta. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you, Ari. Satu.
Thank you.
Anumodami.
Thank you.
So I will end the meeting now.